Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of OPES. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our awesome content. And if you want to support the channel even more, be sure to check out our Patreon for extra episodes and exclusive content. Links in the description. Thanks for listening and let's jump in, baby. Good conversations with friends are like a nice meal. Both can fill you up, raise your spirits, and be just what you needed. And today's episode is no different with my guest, Mr. Phillip Joseph Johnson Jr. Try to say that 3 times fast. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by for another thankful episode of Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories. I'm going to be your hosting pilgrim, Tristan, and we are going to be continuing our 2-parter episode series of The Johnsons. If you haven't got a chance to watch it, I highly recommend checking out our previous episode, From Lion to Lamb Boutique, to truly appreciate this family, both the struggles they've gone through and the victories they shared. In this episode, we get to talk to Phil about how he met his wife, his many experiences from leading a Christian rap group to being a mental health advocate, and much, much more. So, before the food starts to get cold, let's get this thing going. So, if you're ready, grab those recipes. Let's set our oven to 375 and loosen that belt, because we're going to get nice and full for another ordinary person with an extraordinary story. I think I've talked about this on 3 separate episodes. Thank you for pushing out the time or letting me take my little break, because I'm always nervous about the stomach not feeling very well right before an episode. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
nothing's worse than I'm like, how is your life? And I'm like, just kidding. I gotta go see a guy in the bathroom. Just gonna, I don't know. It's worst feeling ever. So
Nah, man, you get it. You're good. You're good. You're good.
good
We're
looking.
excellent.
I was gonna ask, how did you start your morning? You mentioned you got some
I
coffee,
did get some
you get
coffee,
breakfast. Tell me about it. How was your morning?
breakfast-ish.
Ish. Okay, the
Just a bowl of
ISH.
cereal. Yeah, just a
Okay.
bowl of cereal, some honey nut checks,
Ooh.
and then just some coffee, you know. Yeah, that's the breakfast of the champions on a Saturday morning, I guess, right?
So you would say so. Can I flex? Am I allowed to flex? Can I get
Flex,
permission?
man. Flex,
Okay,
flex.
so
Let's do
you
it.
see, look at these tiny little pancakes. I made not crepes.
Wait a minute.
I
Okay.
was like, yeah, I got some little sausage there in case you want that protein.
Now, what type of sausage is that?
That is whatever was at the Costco. They have the pack of 70 or something though.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes, yes,
They're all
yes,
tied
yes,
in
yes.
links and stuff though. But
Yep,
what I like to
yep.
do, and again, I'm not a cook. I'm like a very amateur kitchen. I'm just I think this is gonna work, and I just
There you go.
butter. I've been throwing a lot of minced garlic in there and just destroying it, just blacking it up so it's nice and crispy. But
Yeah.
fry it with the sausage, so not only does sausage taste like garlic, but you got little kind of crunchy bits in there. I don't know. It's
Wow. Okay. So you started
something.
off with the garlic. So I'm like, if you put the garlic in there at the beginning, it's definitely gonna
Oh
get
yeah,
a little
no.
scorchy.
Oh bro, it's like I said, it's like tiny little monsters. If you can see that though.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You know,
that was tasty. That was
I
good.
will probably have to try that out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna
All right, hey,
try that out.
I'm I. It's funny when Brosh was telling me about who cooks in the house. She's like, Philip does most of the cooking. It'll have no flavor. It'll be burnt. And I'm like, bro, are we the same dude? Because I love my wife, baby. If you're listening, I love you so much, honey. But let's just say
Yeah.
I'm usually the one in the kitchen. We'll just say that.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, it's like I love you, but I love us. You know,
I
I
want
love
us not
us.
to fight about this meal. So
I, I'm doing this for us. Okay.
but as far as not coffee-ish though, I'm drinking this is green slime. It's what the kids are drinking nowadays. Have you ever heard of Gamer Sups or G Fuel?
No, I have not.
It's powdered. I don't. It's something. There's drugs. It's
Hmm.
kryptonite.
Yeah, I was about to say, man. I mean, I used to be on some of the what we used to call the liquid crack, like C4 and all that type of stuff when we used to go working out and all that.
Like the NOS. Is that
Yeah,
pre-workout or is that just
the
energy drinks?
pre-workout. Yeah, the pre-workout. Yeah,
I think that's basically what this is. Like,
I think it
I
is.
wouldn't be surprised, but like, so this is called, and we can't see. Also, hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Ordinary People Extraordinary Stories. I'm your host Tristan, and I have my lovely guest, Mr. Phil Johnson here. Phil, technically PJJ. Well,
Triple J, as my auntie would
that's
say. I mean, if you
right,
think about
because
it, Phillip Joe
Joseph. Okay,
Johnson Jr. So you got the triple J's in there.
PJ cubed. I was like I gotta remember math. I was like, okay, wait a minute. What's the 3-1 again? That's cubed,
Oh,
I think. I think that's cubed. Okay.
don't get me to embarrass myself.
Bro, it's too early for math. Stop. Well, hi everybody. Yeah, another episode of Opes coming your way where we talk about poison you drink in the morning and math. Welcome everybody. Y'all
Oh
can't see
yeah.
what I'm drinking, but this is it's supposed to be like Baja Blast flavored. The name is called it's I have to warn you. I'm sorry for what the words that are going to come out of my mouth you're going to hear. Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000.
Is that the real name?
If you don't believe, I will go downstairs and get the
No,
book out.
I believe you. I believe
Yeah,
you. Somebody out
it's
there is that creative and they knew there was a market for it. So
that's
I
a word
believe that.
for it. Creative. That's sure. There you go.
Oh yeah, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. To everyone who's just listening though. So this is the part two, I guess, and I'll call it the Johnson family saga, where I got to interview your wife, like technically Thursday, but people are gonna be hearing this like 2 weeks apart, so
Okay.
time a concept. I don't know if you remember how we
Mhm.
met. Do you?
At a
I and I don't
Tigered,
re okay. Hold on.
Tigered, I got the location, right? The Music Fest in Tigered. And we were selling the Bishop and Sons baked goods, my dad's
Yes.
baked good company who I helped the business with. And that's where we were at. And I think it was the pumpkin bread that drew you in, right?
To be quite frank, it's black owned businesses. Like that's
Oh,
technically
okay.
I'm gonna be real. Also because my wife's like, hey honey, let's go over there.
Oh
And
yeah,
not to be that guys, it's only because Brit's like we don't see a lot of black people in Tigard. So she's like, we make a
this is
point
true.
to be like, hey, like I'm like, okay, hey, let me go say hi. But no, I think it was either the pumpkin bread. Did you guys do a sweet potato bread too?
No,
I think it was then just the pumpkin. I remember
it
I
was something.
had
I mean, we had other
something
stuff there. Yeah, we
that
had our
was
7 Up cake that could have been
maybe that was
there.
it. It was just so light and fluffy. Like I wouldn't imagine anything else but like I
Oh, we
haven't
got our mini rum loaves, and
that
then
might be
Granny's
it.
lemon cake.
It was lemon
That
cake. It
was,
was lemon cake.
yep.
It was just like again, it was eating like a cloud with
Yes.
just the right
Yeah.
amount
It's pretty
of
fluffy.
lemon and then just the sweetness. And I was like, sir, I have a podcast. Can we talk about bread in your life? And life happened. I think we messaged and then like the man's busy, as we'll get to find out, guys. But his wife was the woman who led the paint party to that Juneteenth event. You already listened to part one of the episode. You already know the story, but they're married. And I didn't know that when we went to go say hi to her, but it's just like, oh my God, plot twist. I gotcha, Phil.
Oh yeah.
I wrangled him down and now he's here and he's gonna tell me about his life. I only heard this a bit of what Brosia mentioned about kind of like where you guys were doing. And
Yeah.
we don't even know anything what's going, we know a little bit, but just I admire you guys. You
Oh
guys
man,
are a
bless you.
sick power couple. I mean, the fact that like you guys are running businesses, you're
Hmm.
people of God, YouTubing, raising
Yeah.
family. Granted, I haven't interviewed the kids. I don't. That's not happening. But may I be like survey? Like, are they cool, responsible, chill parents? Like,
Uh,
you know.
all right. I don't know. They may have a different point of
But
view.
I don't hear complaints. I don't hear nothing. You're on the news, so I think you're
Right,
okay.
right, right. Yes, and they're alive. So I think we're doing okay, right?
But did you die? But did you die?
I could have and came back a couple times.
As we'll find out in the story. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on the show, man. I feel like we can even just talk very topically and we'll have a good time chatting and
Yeah,
vibing.
yeah. And I'm gonna be in the interest of full disclosure. You sent those questions over, and I didn't look at them on purpose.
You
I
know
said, you
what?
know what?
God bless you. You
I
own
said,
it.
I'm not looking it. I'm not looking at them. We're gonna dive in, and I am
Parachute with not just again
yes,
free diving. No, the funny
free
thing is,
dive.
I know when people haven't, and people still low key try to lie. Not saying you would, but like it's always funny when people are like,
Uh-uh.
yeah, I looked at those questions. Yeah, okay. My favorite's number nine. It's like, why? What happened to your dead grandma? And they're like, I'm like, that's your favorite? Like what?
No.
You messing with me right now, dog? Like. No, okay. It's good, man. We're gonna be vibing. I was gonna ask like I because I was wondering like why your sound quality so good. It's because you got is it the Turtle Beach? That
Yeah,
way
these gamer headphones that my wife bought for
the
me.
TB, baby. There you go.
And it wasn't even for gaming. Like she bought them for work.
What? Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to wear these big headphones during the pandemic, but I did, you know.
You're thankful
So
to it, aren't you? You're like, man, these are actually kind of low-key fire.
yeah. I don't even use it for gaming, which is the funny thing about it. It just became like, okay,
Well, I guess
yeah.
I was because that was kind of my segue question is like, do you because you're also busy. You kind of made that clear,
Mhm.
but do you game? I think what is it, Black Ops 6 coming right around the corner? You doing anything like that?
Yeah, so
Or
now I was forced into retirement from gaming the way that I used to. Marriage did that for me. My wife found it unattractive.
Hey, you lame,
So
dog.
I used to be a big Madden, big Call of Duty person. I mean, this is before we had all the other kids, right? Like when we were married, we already had our lyric, which is who she's 19 now, but this is back when she was like 5 or 6. So I tamed it down a whole lot, but I still dabble a little bit. I got a 6-year-old son, so I got to figure out a way to kind of get back in there and not be embarrassed when me and him play.
no, no, hey man, no, no, dude. If you tell me you were playing old, so what was your Call of Duty then? What was your like? I crushed too many hours into that Call of
Oh
Duty.
gosh, man. Two, I think it is two. The
Modern
one with the
Warfare 2
zombies.
or
No, this
Black
is
Ops 2.
Black
Okay.
Ops. Yeah, Black Ops 2 with the zombies. Gosh, and be honest with you, I still play that sometime.
Dude, zombie mess like it and again I'm trying to clean my language up, but like no, dude, like zombies hits.
Yeah,
It works. We technically I guess so for me it was the first Black Ops, so like the one that's like right before it though. But no, dude, zombies is always a vibe. It's always a mission. You got the ray gun. I think
yep.
it's is it called I can't remember if it's a Zeus cannon or Thunder cannon. I'm a
Forgot.
yeah, exactly. I'm a fan. I can't remember again gun though, but no, dude, it's a smart answer because again, like as much as I do enjoy a nice game, is that it's just a hobby, man. It's not like it's
Yeah,
fun. Stories are cool, but like you're not making money. You're not spending time with your
yeah,
loved ones. I mean, granted,
And-
you can do that
yeah.
with other games, but it's just like I don't want to say it's a waste of time. And I love gaming, but sometimes the low key is just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but I was really big on Madden when we got married though too. So like, me and my cousin, we used to do like, $50 games or
Ooh.
tournaments. Oh yeah,
Okay, all
For
right.
Madden, oh Madden
Okay,
was
all right.
and it was hours upon hours, man. And so she
Run it
was
back,
just like,
baby. Run it back. Your game's trash, man. I got you. I got you.
yeah, man. She was like, this is unattractive.
See,
I'm like,
okay,
what?
and I feel bad. I love, baby, I love you. I know she's listening, but like you gotta like inch it. Like every little bit of the day, like you just like leave like a joystick in the bathroom. She's like, What's this?" I'm like, oh, where that came from?" And you just kind of just keep leaving stuff on the ground. Then she gets bored one day. She picks up. Yeah, it could be Call of Duty, it could be Madden. She's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
played the new Fallout. This is weird." And you're like, "Yeah, baby, okay, word." And then
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
see, I'm trying to
Well, no,
find
she's
out.
played a little bit though, too, to be honest with you. She's played a little bit.
Okay.
She well, not Call of Duty, but she likes stories.
Okay, okay,
So
okay. All right. I think I'm gonna
yes.
help you. I'm gonna help you with this, but keep going. So, like, what story games have she played?
So she hasn't finished them all, right, or any of them at all. But the latest Metal Gear Solid, she started playing that, and we all like started playing it, right? And we just couldn't figure it out. None of us had like the mental fortitude to finish it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, she really liked that one, and then she'll watch us play the Call of Duty when we play the story sometime. Injustice 2, she likes
Okay.
the this kind of story part on there. She just likes there to be a point to the fight or a point to the violence, not just violence to be violence, right?
That's literally where my
So
wife's at. So okay, I'm gonna help you out. Have you ever played the Walking Dead Telltale games?
no, and I'm writing this down just to let you know.
Ooh! Phil, I love you, man. Like I would tell you to wipe that. The fact that you're doing that, I mad.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, all right. Okay.
Walking Dead Telltale.
Yeah, the Telltale games. So I
Is it
think
on
because
Xbox?
I was gonna say you have Xbox or a PS5.
Xbox.
Let's just find out though. Let's see. Walking Dead.
And it's crazy because she used to love that show. We used to watch that together.
Okay, so oh man, I'm gonna punch just so many things if like it's not on here. Like I know for a fact it's on the PlayStation. You don't have a PS4, right? Just the Xbox One?
Just the Xbox, yeah.
That's all you Okay, it says PS. Well, that's for the expand. So like here, the Walking Dead collection Xbox One. Okay, yeah, it's on here. Oh, thank God, because
Cool, cool,
oh
cool.
man, I was gonna be upset. So it's called The Walking Dead: The Telltale Definitive Series. Okay, so again, I love my wife. I just God bless you, baby. Love you, Brittany. I mean, so do you know anything about Telltale? Like kind of like their shtick, their vibe?
No,
It's all like choose your own adventure. It's all decision.
basically. Yep.
It started as a computer game, like you had to like point and click. You're like, oh, there's a magazine on the ground. Let me read it. Oh, zombies in LA, that's great. Like it's not so much interaction. You have to be a super gamer to play, but like the most compelling story. And you got like essentially 4 or 5 games to play that you can take turns on. And again, it's all decision making. It's
Wow.
like I don't want to like ruin it, but like the first decision is
Nah.
like, okay, who uh who do you want to die? You know, this old person or this little
Oh
kid?
wow.
Like out the
Oh,
gate. And that's it only gets worse from there. But
I'm about to say, wow. What a scenario.
I still technically didn't like spoil anything because bro, there's like it's you don't see it coming and you guys will have a good
You
time.
know what I think about that?
What's up?
Maybe that's some type of like psychology test, or like some type of personality test. Like they're able to tell like what type of person you are by these type of decisions that you would make.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely real. No, it's I think there's some merit to what you're saying because at the
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
end they give percentages to like this person did this person did that, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, if your wife likes story and like
She does.
I think even you'll be like, bro, like I'm locked in. Like that game made me cry straight up, and it's weird because like movies are one thing, but like games, but it. Oh, dude, I'm pumped for you. I'm pumped. That's so yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna try it. We're
Okay,
definitely gonna get on that.
technically, I can give you one more. Well, no, I think that's a PlayStation only game. That's like Detroit something game. Become Human. Here we go. Okay, is that X Play? It says Windows. So it might be the computer though. Let's do Xbox One. Now, that's the only thing I would say that's like kind of difficult to get my wife into. It's like again more like I guess I don't want to say gamey games, but like it's like we gotta push a lot of buttons. You gotta like
Mm-hmm.
know how to
Yep.
shoot things, run it back, kind of fun stuff. I think this is only for the PlayStation. Yep. Never mind. The other one's basically like AI revolution. Like you control a artificial intelligence cop who you follow multiple people all in like the future and kind of like what AI is going to look like in maybe a couple of years. Again,
Mm.
you can have, do you want like edgy Terminator cyberpunk future where like the machines are going to kill everybody? Or do you want your
Mm.
guy to be like AI Moses, where he's like, let my people go? And it's
AI
cool.
Moses.
It's cool. It's a vibe, but you can't play it because it's only on the PlayStation. So never mind, man. It's
Oh, I can't be AI Moses, man.
you can't, dude. I'm sorry. I know got you so excited when I said those words. You're like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, that has to be the first time that was put together in a sentence.
Yeah, right on. But you know what? That's again, that's this gaming. Gamings can be fun. Storytelling is
Yeah.
cool, but I would honestly say I think I prefer more the person-to-person story because like as much as like I like playing games about characters that could be like us, I like to honestly know I'm like, oh wow, that's a real person I met. And their story is
Yeah.
so much more. different than what I can imagine it could be,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
which is a good segue into, I guess, my first question for you, friend. So, I mean, I guess I'd say is, I don't know, Phil, can you kind of tell me how, like, I know your dad is, well, I know he's much, much more than a baker, but it just sounds
Yeah.
like your family kind of has a very large part in your life, and like,
Hmm.
you mind sharing like was it like growing up? Was it fun? Was it easy? You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, I would say it wasn't as fun, but I'm was so grateful for it. Like, grew up in a two-parent home, two-parent, Christian home. We were at church every single Sunday, sometimes twice on Sundays. Wednesdays, Bible studies. Thursday, if it was a choir rehearsal, there was a lot of church, right?
Kind
And I
of,
know like
yeah.
I know like that could be like a probably like a negative thing sometimes when you think about nowadays, but really like I really honestly found like community there. And so what happened for me is that I actually started seeing like a lot of my different we went to like a family church where like people they were related to me.
Oh.
And so it was a way for me to spend time with actually like cousins, you
Mm.
know, extended family members. So yeah, that's kind of like how it was growing up a lot for me. I think my mom and dad did the best they could. They both were career people at OHSU.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
mom in the women's health clinic and dad was in the equipment pool. So delivering those machines to those rooms, and that was dad. And mom was in the women's health clinic up there, man.
Were
At
they
least for
hired together, or did they meet each other there?
that is so crazy. So no, they met each other and they were already married when they worked there. So I think they both applied
Okay.
like at the same time. They met when they were in high school, both went to Portland State, and then they just ended up working at OHSU in different departments.
Because I was just imagining, just like he was dropping off equipment. He's like, "Hey, sign this." And he's like, "Oh, so your name's Alice," and trying to low key flirt, kind of, trying to game a little bit there.
Oh man, nah, man. They came there at the same time, man. Same time, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so yeah, that's how I was having both parents outside of the home. So there's a lot of after school activities for me or going to, my granny's house, you
Okay.
know. So yeah, that's kind of how it was kind of like growing up for me. They did a really good job. When my dad went we crazy thing about it is when we went to go and own a home, my dad was always my baseball coach, right? I love
Okay.
baseball. Yeah,
Okay.
love baseball, man. Love baseball. When we went to get a home, my dad ended up picking up like three jobs, man. And so it was about a good 3 year period where I didn't
Wow.
really get to like really see him that often. So my dad was working at OHSU, but he also was a pizza delivery guy. And then he also worked at the Memorial Coliseum. I'm the Rose Garden. They called it the Rose Garden back
Was he
then.
the guy selling like lemonades and peanuts and stuff, or like?
Nah, man, working security, security, security.
Okay, you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah,
Good
yeah.
for
One of the
him.
ushers. Yeah.
I believe he would have the hustle power to be like, and I also sell lemonade. Like,
And I
just
also sell lemonade. This is not your seat, but would you like a lemonade?
there you go.
Yeah, nah, man. And then it was Godfather's Pizza. I don't even think we have Godfathers out here anymore.
We got like two locations,
It's
and
two
like
left.
there's two left. And bro, I don't know how they're staying in business.
I
Like,
don't.
don't get me wrong, pizza. I think it's fire. It's not $20 fire. Like the only reason I ate back because we had one back in Cali where I was from, like in the Sacramento area. But like
Yeah,
they had like a pizza buffet where you spent like 13, $15 and you can eat everything. And it's like, okay,
right.
that's the only way I'll stomach eating this kind of like super mid-tier pizza. But you trying to tell me I'm just paying $20 out that gate? Like, it's not happening, dude. It's not
He
happening.
said, not worth it,
Oh,
man.
it's
Not
not
worth it.
happening. That just sounds crazy that your dad was just so. Man, because that's dude, that's some hustle mentality if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, and it was to own a home. So they had came up with a plan together that he would sacrifice like that. They were trying to get a down payment on a home.
Let me ask you this though, because especially since he was hustling so hard, and you mentioned like now you're like, wow, thanks, Dad, for making it hard. I mean, like, was there kind of low key some resentment? Because it's like,
Hmm.
you're always at church, you're always doing something.
Ah, no.
Also the coach, and were you a bad kid? Not saying you were, but like when usually like you got two types of people go to church too much. You're like either all
Hmm.
right, you embrace the culture, or you're just like, you know what? Smoking cigarettes and listen to music. Just
I was a tough kid, man, for my parents, man. I dealt with ADHD growing up, man. It was hard for me to focus. And so I dealt with a lot of anger issues because of that. You know what I'm saying? So just like being angry all the time because like I can't focus and I'm supposed to do this thing right here. So I had a lot of anger, a lot of rebelliousness. When my dad was out of the home more working, it was like on my mom. And
Mm.
so yeah, she, I don't know if she really knew how to deal with me like that, right?
I mean, as
So
best she can. That's kind of the what she was trying to do, at least.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of like where it was. So I don't resent my dad or my mom. And I'm trying to think were there ever a time that I did. Probably my mom a little bit, but that's because she was the one that was like there. So the person is crazy how it works sometimes with kids, right? Like it'd be the person who was actually there for you, who actually took the brunt of that your rebellion, who sometimes you have the most resentment for. And
Right.
it's so crazy how that happens.
It's well, you know what? It's a good time to be like, hey, mom, low key, my bad.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But no, it's you ain't kidding. It's kind of because for me it was undiagnosed ADHD,
Yeah.
and I think my mom had it too, and I think we were just like reacting to each other as best we can, and
Ah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I definitely can relate though. So, all right, but okay, but they were working. You had a house. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
nothing was jumping out though. But eventually, I found out you get into like this hip hop choir thing, or like, I mean, like, so
Oh
what
man,
age
yeah.
were you from the dad working three jobs in the house to what was it like after that? Like, how old were
So
you?
man, that was like elementary, and we ended up getting a house in middle school. By the way, they still have that home. It's a house I grew up in. They've had it over 30 years now.
God bless.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that was like middle school. So we got that house, and man, then I hit high school. I went out to like Franklin High School, freshman and sophomore year. Just skipping and having a good time, man. Not really being inside of the classroom, but high school for the first 2 years was about social gatherings, right?
Hey, that's you yeah, that's how it was, you know? That's
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because I never was like, I mean, I was okay smart, you know what I'm saying? Like I was in tag, they used to call that talented and gifted or whatnot. So it wasn't like I was incapable of doing the work. It just was like,
physically doing it, like sitting down and actually knocking it
hmm
out.
yeah, it was just like not my thing. So yeah, man, I just went out there, had a rough first 2 years of high school, ended up switching to high schools all the way over to Jefferson when I was a junior. Was there for a year, didn't really work out, and I was so behind. They were like, "Hey, man, you're not going to graduate." And so there's an alternative high school for you called
Right.
Vocational Village that you can go to, and you can try to catch up on your credits and think about a trade after high school or whatnot. So that's
That
where I
that
went.
must have been like super rough. I mean, like to be like, okay, you can't even go to regular
Yeah,
4 year
no.
school. You're going to like it's not quite it's not you wouldn't say it's the dumb school, but it probably felt like that. It's like, wow, man, I have to go like to the extra like we called it options was my local version for that. It's like, hey, you graduate kind of by knocking out packets or something like that.
Basically, basically, that's what it could have been. That's basically what it was.
So did you miss like all the high school stuff like prom and like
So I want to say yes and no. One of the things I even talk about with my wife, or sometimes, or even my 19-year-old, I was like, man, one of my biggest regrets was just like not graduating high school, like just not going to like a 4 year school and then having that graduation and walking the stage. Kind of really missed out on that. That's one of the things I really do think about sometimes. That I wish I would just buckled down and been able to have those memories with like others have. So
no, absolutely. I mean, do you still you kind of mentioned, I mean, do you think you'd want to? Like you'd still want to if you could, like maybe in like the next upcoming years or something like that or
oh no, I'm gonna get my GED and then when I went off to college,
oh that's right. And we talked
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't go forward in the story. I'm just like, yeah, that's just where I stopped at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do the traditional route, I would say.
no, no, I feel that. And guys, I totally knew that because we talked before. I'm gonna edit that out. Big silly. But no, yeah,
Mhm.
it's and again, like that is almost like a very pivotal part for people. It's like that doesn't happen. It's like, okay, I feel like this, I feel like all these things. I'm just really kind of upset. And then people kind of go to like more negative aspects. But I feel like that happened the opposite with you. Because I think that's
Mhm.
when you maybe started leaning more in the church, and I think this is where the hip hop choir comes in.
Yeah. And so I think around this time, like, man, I'm just having a really hard time. And really, man, like, just to be honest with you, like, turning like 19 years old, I'm out there living, as they would say, sowing my wild oats, man. I'm just living lustful, right? And so I'm out
Well, I
there.
didn't know about all that, but all right, okay. So
Oh, man.
Phil was a tomcatting, as they would say. You were
Is that
just,
what they call it, man?
I mean, I think the kids nowadays would say, you risen it up with the Beckys. I don't.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just out there, man. And
Okay.
I ended up like in a situation where like I was just, just got tired and felt dirty. I
Mm,
remember one time in my bedroom, just like really feeling like dirty and like, gosh, I was like praying to God, like, God, if you clean me up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll live for you. This is like 19 years old. Like, okay, I'm gonna live for you. This is what I'm gonna try to do because I just felt so dirty, man. And
no, yeah.
man, so a couple months after that, like it ended up that one of the girls had gotten pregnant. And so I had a daughter that was on the way, right? And
Mm.
so that was really the turning point for me. Like I need to get serious about like life, serious about my relationship with the Lord. And so those are the things that I just really dove into. So I was started back going to church more, and just started trying to find my ways to be around that type of community again. And so yeah, that's really what pushed me back, man.
It's kind of funny because I don't know if I'll ever say his name on here because I mean, not trying to say like I think disrespectfully or like negatively of him, but it's just like he was kind of going through it, kind of being a knucklehead, kind of like, oh man, you got no future. And the moment he had his kid, just completely found his purpose, found his future. And
Yeah.
it just, I mean, Grant, I don't even have kids. Like, I can't say that. I'm just kind of speaking out of my butt, but just like it is kind of crazy how like kids kind of like make you sober up and get serious real quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Well, I mean, good on you. I know that the struggles and trials didn't stop there. Like
Nah,
not to lie laugh, but it's like I know a little bit about the story that it's I know kind of like what's coming later though. But all right, so you had your kid, your first kid. It's your daughter. What's her name? If you want to
so,
say, I don't also have to.
oh
You
yeah,
can,
no, her name is Lyric. She's 19 years old.
that's right. That's the lyric.
That's
Okay,
the
so
oldest. Yeah. So she's the oldest. She's the one that when me and the wife got together, she was 4 years old, and then we got married when she was 6. Yeah,
you know what
and
I love
so
about Ambrosia is that like because it keeps tripping me up because she keeps saying her daughter, and it is her daughter. It's just like I
yeah,
just love how it's like there's not, oh, that's my stepkid. Like, no, that's my child. Like
oh, no
I've raised
distinction.
like it's I don't know. It's very
Nah, no distinction, man. No
so you
distinction at all. It's one of the reasons why I love her.
having lyric
Yep.
and you're I mean, I just continue, my man, by all means.
Yeah.
Keep
Oh
sharing.
yeah. So we have lyric. I ended up just diving in and figuring out like, man, how can I do this worship? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So we started just me and my cousin that did a group before called Real Recognize Real, and we just did like rapping for Jesus, right? We just, that's what we're gonna do.
Love it,
We
man. Christian rap,
traveling to
let's go.
Seattle a little bit, man. And the thing about it is we never listened to Christian rap. But we were doing
Oh,
Christian rap. And so I
that's
didn't
what's
really
up.
even know different artists. Like, I mean, the most of the people I listened to was like Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond. I had to get introduced to these people like Christian rap, like the
You're
actual
like,
other artists, like
oh, this is
way
like
later in the journey. I was like,
yeah.
oh wow. Like I didn't even know, it was really out here like this. I thought that I was so alone. We were so siloed, right? But yeah, I didn't really know about that stuff until like the I would say the second phase of us doing music, which began to be an actual like collective group, which was called Lyfted, which
A
formulated about like it was, and then we later changed the name to Lifted Ministry Group. But we
love
got
it, man.
together right around the time me and Ambrosia got married.
Okay.
We changed it into Lifted, and it was like a group of like 5 of us, man.
Was it like spelled like classic? I was like with like a Y in it or
Nah, you
something.
put that Y in there, man. Yeah, we had to be different, man.
There you go, dude.
Lyfted, man.
It's just the
It
pose
made it
is the
way cooler, man. Put that Y in there.
hey, dude, man. I might put a Y. I'm trying to figure out if I can put a Y in my title or my channel, my show. But we'll find a reason. We'll put a Y there. Maybe
Somewhere in there, man.
there you
I'm trying
go,
to tell you, I instantly another 1,000 followers right after that,
dude.
man.
It man, it works exactly. You don't know why. It's just it.
I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna
No
stop.
pun intended.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
stop,
know
please. I'm gonna
why.
go home. I'm
I
gonna leave.
don't know why. Pun intended.
All right. I mean, and it's funny you mentioned because I mean, like, I know Christian rap gets like a lot of. It's pretty much Christian any type of music gets like a lot of flack of just like,
Oh, it's
oh,
like a whack.
it's whack, no
Hmm.
skill, it's just
Hmm.
Jesus, Jesus. But no, and that sucks is because I really don't know a lot of Christian rap. I'm gonna send this to my boy Dustin. And he's gonna be like, okay, this. But there's it's I don't know, it's powerful to like
Hmm.
again like to take something that's like it's poetry, it's self-spoken, but like again you can like preach the good word in it. But
Yeah.
like I don't have to tell you why Christian like rap is like. I mean, do you have any songs or samples I can listen to?
I'll definitely send you some stuff over, man. I think some of the people who I listen to now is like KB, Lecrae obviously is one of the bigger names. Jay Monty. There's a lot of women who are stupid
Hmm.
dope right now too, man. We have
Word?
one that was in our
Okay.
group. Yeah, we got one that was in our group that was super dope too. That is super dope.
Is, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She just hasn't done music.
continuously, she hasn't stopped being dope.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The dopeness hasn't stopped, right? But yeah, no, there's a lot of different artists I can kind of like, spit the
I
names out there.
There's I want to make sure because my wife showed me this though, but I'm gonna butcher his last name. I'm not trying to put disrespect on his name. How do you pronounce? I'm so sorry.
No, you good.
Wigway. Okay, thank you. Okay, Wigway. Okay. Toby
Oh, Toby
Wigway.
and Nwigwe. Yep,
Yeah, okay,
Nwigwe.
because thank you. Because I was like, bro, I'm not gonna like, mom and Wig. That just yeah, no. I was like,
Toby and I just say Toby, man. I know you talking
Toby.
about.
Thank you very
I
much.
got you.
No, it was actually my wife showed me the song that was "Try Jesus, but not me."
Oh yeah, man, with him and gosh, the guitarist. The guitarist is actually a worship leader at one of these
Where?
bigger churches. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
I just can't remember his name. Ah, it's messed up. It's gonna
that's low-key
bother me.
kind of tight. Where it's like there's just music's kind of again. It's like it kind of came from this like oh it's all cringe, but it's so diverse now that like you really can find good music pretty
Oh
much in
yeah.
any genre.
Yep.
So wait,
Absolutely.
what year were we doing Lifted? Like what? I'm trying to like imagine the year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Lifted, I would say we kind of got together maybe in like 20, for real, like 2012.
All
I
right.
think 2011 was like the incubacy, right? But I think 2012 it really got going. And I think we had like a good 6 year run, man, where we just like really were doing life together, man. We would do shut-ins at one of the members' houses. Basically, like we would just be there, just us, we praying, worshiping. We would do a little fasting, but then we also do some eating and then just would work on music. Like we would just be like praying, worship, music,
That's tight.
praying, worship, music, and we just be together for 24 hours, man. Like our families understood. We planned it all the way out. So like our families were okay. Well, I'm the only one I think had a family at the time. No, no, Nahi had a family too. We were the only ones who like were married with. We had a kid at the time, because me and the
Mm,
wife, we waited like another 5 years before we had another kid, right?
which good. Yeah, good honor.
We did. But like, yeah, man. And we just would be together, man. And part of it was like, hey, we do music. Music may have been what brought us together, but we didn't want that to be the thing that kept us together. So we really want to
Absolutely.
just focus on relationship, building a relationship with each other and just modeling what does it look like to be I don't know, just to walk with Jesus, man, and just to be young and to have a crew and how do you hold each other accountable? How do you be there for each other and just learning, man? And
It's a
so
process. Yeah.
it's a process, man. So that's what we were just like living out during that good 6 year period, man. And it had its ups, its downs, its highs, and its lows. But we really we got to travel.
I mean, yeah, he says he went to like Seattle, he went to like multiple places. What was like the
Yep,
farthest place you
California.
went to? Like,
Oh gosh, it might just be deep Cali.
okay.
Yeah, I want to say deep California. Yeah.
Like San Diego or
Uh,
something.
Yep, San Diego is exactly the place. Yeah, yeah, San Diego. Yep. But we went to the prisons, man, juvenile, some adult ones in Washington as well. Yeah, man, just all type of stuff, submitting for different festivals and stuff like that, and just doing life. It was a really good 6 years of my life that there was so much in there.
was kind of crazy when you think about it because it's like you kind of getting like not over like glorifying or gratifying, but like you're dude, you're being a rock star. Being a rock star for Christ. I can only imagine like the super heavy highs and like the moments of like, oh man, like you were probably some core memories for people that were just
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, like I'm never gonna forget our concert. I'm never gonna forget that conversation we had. Was it ever
Yeah.
like kind of difficult though, or was ever kind of like some low lows on the trips?
Yeah, man. I think sometimes when we're trying to learn like the struggles of each other, right? And what different people
Mm,
may struggle with and learning how do I cover that thing, but also how do we like cultivate what is actually good, you know? And I
I
think
like
like
that.
as a leader of Lifted, I think I struggle with that sometimes. I think sometimes I had expectations of people because I felt like, hey, we had this experience with Jesus together. We struggled together, we've cried together, we've prayed together, and so the experience that I've had, you've had it too, so you're able to do this. And sometimes people weren't, meeting those type of like expectations, and I think sometimes I didn't react well as a leader. So I would say even for leadership for me, I think Lifted was a training ground. So it was a lot
Mm,
that I had to learn, a lot that I didn't know, and a lot of flaws,
I like
man,
that.
that being a part of that group really exposed to me.
I,
Um,
I don't mean to overly
yeah,
glaze you, but I think that what makes a good leader is somebody that's like, hey, I got lessons to learn, and sometimes I'm not a good leader. So
man,
I'll still
not
I'll
man.
still commend you on that though. So,
Oh man, bless you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, that was really a good 6 year boot camp. A leadership boot camp for me, man, where I had to just things and fail and
you
feel the weight of that.
man. Well, and you know what? I think this is a good kind of like segue into like a conversation because like so Ambrosia told us how she kind of like, excuse me, how she met the Lord and also how she kind of met you at the camp.
Hmm.
We know her side of the story. Kind of curious to see kind of like how your guys's maybe tales differ a little bit.
Okay, so maybe this is an advantage.
Yeah, maybe.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. No, no, finish the question. Finish the question.
No, the question basically is like, tell me how you guys met
Hmm.
because yeah, just I would say how did that happen? Because I know it was at a camp, right? Because I mean, like you didn't just
Yeah.
I guess how did you even just I don't know where and now we're Christian rappers. Like how did was there like did that was that just like one day thing you learned how to do that at camp and then now you're a rock star
Yeah.
and you're going to what?
No, like I told you, we grew up in church, and so I couldn't sing. So everybody back in the day, we used to do like
I'm sorry.
freestyle circles in like middle school and high school. So
Hey.
naturally, when it came to like be like really giving my life over to the Lord, it was well, this is a form of expression for me to express that, right? But I never listened to Christian rap, so that's kind of how that happened. But meeting Ambrosia, happened to be at the same camp. So before you go to the camp, there's a 2 day training.
Okay.
We've had the same dance teacher at this camp because it's a camp I grew up in since I was like 10 years old. So imagine I'm like 20. Oh, I met Broja at 25.
Okay.
Yeah, 24, 25. So we've always had the same dance teacher there. So we go in there for training and they're like, hey, we have a new dance teacher this year. And Ambrosia comes walking in. I don't even know her. I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's cute face or whatnot. And she's in a sling. And they're like, well, she's gonna be our new dance teacher, and she has a broken arm or whatnot, right? And so I'm just like, oh man, how's the new dance teacher gonna teach the class with a broken arm? Man, that's different, right? So anyway, we start going through the camp. We never talk to each other. We've always seen her. We've always
Okay.
we'll take our group of kids to her class because she's a dance teacher. I'm a camp counselor. So
Okay.
as a camp counselor, I have a certain age of kids that go around to 4 different rotations at the PSU
Hmm.
campus. And
Okay.
so she's just the dance teacher. She just teaches a class. So we always would just rotate. This one morning, man, she's at the say we happen to be at the same bus stop. They come and pick up kids at a bus stop. She's there with, I guess, like her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend she's trying to get away from.
Oh,
And
that guy,
it's
which we be hearing about that guy. That guy sucks.
oh man, bro. And so like they're at the bus, and I remember him from high school. And so he sees me and he's just like, Phillip. man, what's good? He's just talking to me. And I'm just like, oh, what's up? It's how you doing? And like, and bro, mind you, we still haven't talked. Like, we've never even acknowledged. It's like, this is a 5 week camp. This is probably like the third or fourth week, right? And so he was just talking to me, and he just is like, how somebody just kind of just they're trying to say things to you, but they really want to be able to have like the person next to them like notice the conversation, right? And I felt like that's how he was kind of like
Mm.
talking to me a little bit. But
Like
anyway,
what was he like saying though? Like he's like, hey,
oh
listen up, Brosia. Like, was he
no, he
talking
was
like
talking.
crap about her a little bit
No,
or?
no, no. He was talking to me, but he was just like, asking me what I do, and he was just like, "Man, I always knew you was gonna be somebody. I always knew you were gonna be great. That's why I always want to hang around great people because I was gonna be great myself." And it was like that self, when you self tear yourself down a little bit for like,
Oh, like he's like compliment me. He's like, tell me I used to be something or I'm gonna be something. That kind of like,
yeah, that's what it
okay.
was. And I was like, "This is weird. Let me let
Like, bro, have some confidence, dog. Like, come
Yeah, have some
on.
confidence, man. Let me let you have this conversation with her because that's what I thought it was, right? Like you and her
Interesting.
need to talk, right? So like I walk away a little bit. We both get on the same bus after the bus comes. We get on the bus, and so he had gave her a bouquet of flowers.
Ooh.
And so as the bus is driving off, he's like, "I love you, Bobo. I love you." And so you can see this girl because I didn't know her at the time, just Ambrosia.
Yeah.
Her face is like as red as it can get with like embarrassment and anger. Like I may not know her, but I
You
know,
know that face. You've seen that.
yeah, I've
Okay.
seen that face before, man. And so she's so angry and upset, man. Funny thing is, she's up getting the flowers to one of her dance students, right? That
Okay.
she had kind of like really took under her wing and gave the flowers to her, like, here, you can have these. These are for you. Which a funny story caveat is 3 years ago, I ended up marrying that girl and her husband.
That's cute.
Full
That's cute.
circle, but
That's
that's a
cute.
totally different story. But yes, they ended up like reaching back out and like I've always wanted you, I've always looked up to you and Philip, and so could you marry us? And so it was like, of course, right? Not everybody gets to marry their students.
Oh, absolutely. You were like, I was waiting for you to ask, dude. Like,
Yeah, so anyway, we ended up talking, and I found out that she, said that she had liked to dance. I told her we were going to on a trip later on, and she said, "What's the dates of the trip?" I told her August 14th, and she was between the 17th, and she was like, "I'll get back to you." And so she was gonna our main purpose was she was going to find a couple of different dancers to be able to dance some of our music while we did this concert out in California.
yeah.
She gets the dancers, they start rehearsing. It's like a week before we're leaving, and both her dancers quit on her and said they can't make it. They're not going to be able to come.
Mm.
And so I'm saying, here's this girl who doesn't know us, and she's the only girl around. It's me and my two other bandmates at the time. And I'm like, well, this girl's not going to go with us now. We don't know her like that, right? She doesn't know us. She's not going to drive with us all the way down to California,
Yeah.
right?
I think it was
But
San
she ends,
Diego. Yeah.
yeah, San Diego, yeah, yeah. And so she ends up just saying yes. She ends up saying yes, that she'll still go. And I'm like, really? Okay.
Oh,
I said,
well, good
all
looking.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So she ends up going, man. And later on, kind of find out that the reason why she even said yes was because August 14th happened to be her mother's birthday. Her mother that passed when she was, I think, 13 or 14. Her
Right.
mother OD'd.
And that,
And so,
yeah.
yeah,
But that was like the sign where she's like, okay, God, like I see you. Like
yeah,
this,
yeah.
you better catch me if we fall, dude. But
Yeah, right, 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 right. Yeah. So she was
okay.
just like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. And so she ends up coming with us because that was the date on there, man.
We're gonna keep going, but like I had so many questions because first off,
No,
because
stop,
like
go.
okay, just okay. Did you guys end up ever talking about the bus incident? As far as like, was it that day when you just saw that you're like, hey, you okay, man? Or like, did you try to be friendly with her? Or like, when did you kind of like, hey, you cool? When did you start
Oh,
talking to
like
her?
when did I ever tell her like I was interested? Is that what you mean?
Maybe a little bit, because I feel like something happened on that bus when they drove away. I feel like a
No,
conversation was
actually,
had.
no. Well, no. I mean, I tried to talk to her, but she had like the most meanest attitude. So we knew that the dance teacher had an attitude. That's all we knew about her. I never even had like a conversation like, oh, like I like you type of thing until we got to California. Like,
Really? So you're telling
yeah,
me there wasn't even like a little bit like, all right, you cute, like,
nah,
like
none of that.
okay,
I
okay.
really, when I really went to go and talk to her, I ironically, I knew she had an attitude. I knew she was kind of like rough around the edges, kind of mean, but I knew she liked to dance, and she said that she had just started going to church. And so I just was like, oh, okay, well,
Okay.
Peter had rough edges in the Bible, so
Oh,
he's
dude.
still able to do great work. So,
Peter was gangsta. Like we were talking about the Chosen. You guys watched it, right? You
oh
guys,
yeah,
dude.
oh yeah,
I love Peter, man. He handles business. Like
oh yes, man, absolutely.
no, I was
So,
laughing when you were talking to her ex because like small I wanted to know if he knew like so, oh hey, nice to meet you. I'm Mr. Steely Girl. What's up? How's it
oh
going?
no, man,
Like
yo, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Obviously, he did find out later on, right? Like,
yeah.
what I'm saying, but this is like way later. This is like a year, man. It's like probably like a year later, man. But like I said before, then it was really like just honest and upfront, man. We just were just it was supposed to just be like a a teacher who was going to teach other girls these dances to our music, and we were just going to go and you know.
Well, no, I respect it because like it's I always kind of wonder with like couples, it's like okay, who caught feelings first? Who's just like
Oh, definitely it was
thank
me.
you, thank you. All
Yeah,
right,
that was
I
me.
see
That
you,
was
I see
me.
you.
So yeah, that was definitely me. Sometimes we get down to California, we end up staying at the same place. They house us at the same place, obviously in like different rooms and stuff like that. There was just one night, man, where me, her, and another one of my friends, we just asked her like, just kind of getting to know you type questions. And she hardly ever talks, right? And this girl for like, man, I want to say for like 3 to 4 hours, she just began to just talk. And like she was like, and like we were in this room, and like he was sitting on the bed, I was sitting against the bed, and she was like in the middle of the floor, like crisscross applesauce, and like just relaxed with like a cover. And she just like was running through like her whole life story, man.
Mm.
And talking about her mother, her father, how it was growing up, different situations at school. And like the time is passing, but I can't even notice it, right? I'm just like,
You're just
it
like
was like,
you get all the backstory. You're like, bro, like you're so much
yeah.
more like in depth than I gave you credit for. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, like I didn't know this much depth to you, and it was just like, oh shoot, this is like watching. It's like the first time you feel like you were like watching a movie, but like it was like an audible. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
someone's just
exactly.
talking, and you were able to see the images of what they were talking about. And so, like, yeah, she got done, and we were just like, I was like, oh shoot, like I think I like her so much. Like I have to tell her, like this is. I have to tell her. I want her to know that I have these feelings. And so I go and talk to my boy, like, man, how do I tell her? How do I tell her? He said, I got you. I got you. This is what you do. This is what you do.
Is what you do.
Here's what you do. This is the secret. You just tell her. And I said,
Okay. All right.
what?
He good. He's smart. He real
He's sm-
smart. First I
I
was
said, man, I
like,
thought you were supposed to be the love guru, man. You always claimed to be the love guru. That's all you got for me, right? But yeah, no, I ended up taking her to making up a trip. So like say, hey, let's go find a store to go get some from. And just to tell you, we got lost, but really lost on purpose. And so we're driving, and I was like, hey, just to let you know, I think I like you. I'm interested. And she said, oh, okay. So we're driving around a couple more minutes.
that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I said, well, hey, did you hear me? What I said earlier? I don't know if you kind of understood. Maybe there's a language barrier here. I just want to let you know that I like you.
I like you, like
I
you,
like
like
you, like you, like you. She was just like, no, I heard you. I'm just not interested.
ah, bro,
I
dude,
s-
you're cold, dude. You're ice
cold, man.
cold.
Ice cold, man. I said, oh, okay. I just thought you didn't understand me, but you did understand me. So, okay, I get it.
I'm gonna shut up and just die now. Just don't mind me. Just fucking drive off the road. Just-
Let me hurry up and get you back to the place that their house us at. This is like the most embarrassing. We didn't even end up going to a store. I'm just like, let me get back to where we are to get out of this car. I wish we had like car ride share back then. I probably would have just said, hey, just take this rental car back and you know,
Exactly. I
I'll
gotta go. Like seriously, I gotta like I can't. She
I
probably
can't.
low key mad that you just like took her on a not errand, and she's like, we just wasting like 2 hours.
Just wasting time
This
for
could have
for
been
you to say that.
this could have been an email. This could have been
But yeah, that's how I told her, man. And she was just like, yeah, I'm not interested. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I shot my shot. That's all you could do.
yeah,
So
facts.
I
Took
was
the
the
L
first.
gracefully. I'm proud of you, you know?
Took
Like,
it, man. I took it, man. I was like, all right, well, Lord, it's not meant to be right now, so gotta respect it.
yeah. And then what happened,
Oh
man?
shoot. Oh man. Well,
I was
see.
like, and then they didn't even get married, guys.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, and
They
then
didn't
we
have
just
no
got married,
kids.
right?
They just like, yeah, come on. Like,
No, man. So we end up doing the show and everything down there. We do the show. We end up coming all the way back, Portland, driving back home and all that.
right.
And get back, and it's just like she was just like, well, you guys are like really cool. It's me. It was me, my cousin, and one of my best friend at the time. And so she was like, you guys are like really cool. You know what I'm saying? And like, I've talked to you guys, but we're not really talk. And so we just started inviting her to church. We started inviting her to like the after Sunday domino games that we would play after church.
Okay. All right.
And she just started just coming around, and she was just like our homegirl. She started meeting Lyric when Lyric was like 4, and all of a sudden she became like Lyric's friend, which I was like, okay, this is like our friend. But then like Lyric was like taking over, like,
So
this is my friend.
time out. I got time stamp this though. So she denies you, just makes you look like a total goob. How long are we
Yes.
talking about like this friendship cultivating? How many months?
Oh man, like within like 1 or 2 months.
Okay. She wasn't weird by it. She wasn't just be like, I we still be friends, but like
Nah, she just was like, oh, we're just gonna be friends. I just said, oh yeah, that's just our homegirl. Like I shot my shot, didn't
okay.
work, and that's just the homegirl. Then her and my daughter, like, they just started building a relationship, and she just started being around the church. She would start being there for dominoes and stuff like that,
That's what's up.
and she just was around, and then just like, yeah,
So it's Lyric. Lyric was the deal closer. She's like, I see you, Dad. Like you low key, like you lonely. Like I'm just kind of like
bro,
you sloppy. And
you
he's like,
see.
I'm gonna. She's your wingman, dude. She.
Hey, you see now? See, that wasn't how I planned it, right? So it must have been a God thing, right? Because she later tells me after we get married, like, hey, one of the reasons that made me attracted to you, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe something, there could be something here, was I saw how you were with your daughter. I saw you
Mm,
have your daughter with you. I saw your relationship with
got
her.
all paternal on her. You're like, yeah, I'm reliable.
I'm
That's
reliable,
a sexy word. I mean, like I'm dependable. I'm a.
dependable,
There
girl.
you go.
You don't
Ooh,
know that. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Make your
Oh, you
chicken
know what I'm
noodle soup
saying?
in the bed.
Yeah,
What?
girl, I do that for you. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing, little things that matter, right?
Okay,
Taking her to school in the morning.
she's playing dominoes. She's coming around. Eventually, she catches the fee-fees, and then
Yeah.
how does that interaction go from like, okay, round two? Do you try to shoot your shot out again, or she's just like, I want to take you on a BS errand and tell you I got the
And do the
feelings.
same thing to you, right? Like,
Yeah.
nah, my wife has never been an emotional communicator as far as like verbally. It's
Hmm.
always in action. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so if she does something, that's how, but as we've been working in our marriage and stuff like that, she's worked on becoming more verbal, but her things was like, how I feel about what I do, and so yeah, man, she started hanging around, and we just talked to each other, and we all of a sudden we would go to the movies and we were holding hands.
Aww.
We would go out to eat. What I'm saying? Go out to eat and stuff like that, and just always be together. So, I mean, it just started being like, oh man, this is like, I just can't imagine my life without you. But it wasn't like I never said those words, and it's never like she said those words. It just was like we
Interesting.
got to a point where it's like, oh, this is meant to be.
This just makes sense. That kind of thing.
This
Okay.
that type of thing. And I hadn't experienced that before. I thought it was supposed to be some episodic, like a rom com. Like, where's our rom com moment? I want
Exactly.
our rom com moment, and we didn't get that rom com moment. I remember her and my sister. We were all staying at my parents' house at the time because she used to stay with her stepmom, and she, I got kicked out or whatever, not because of her own stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just
anyway,
shenanigans. Yeah.
yeah, man. So she was ended up living with my parents for like a little second until she was able to find her place. My sister ended up looking for a place at the same time, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get together and we're just gonna move out." And I was like, "Wait a minute, don't leave me and Lyric." We all need to go and look for a place together, right? Save money, smarter, not harder, right?
Right.
And so we all ended up finding a place together. And then at that time, I'm like, man, we didn't want to like really like live together like unmarried, right? And we kind of like knew we wanted to be married, so we moved into the place on like December 5th. and my dad was over at the house. They used to come over for after Sunday dinners and stuff like that. And on December 26th is the day we actually got married. My
Day
dad, I
after
was just like, you know
Christmas.
what? Day after Christmas, let's just get married. We invited two cousins to come over so that they could be the witnesses, and we just got married right there in our living room.
Romantic. And your dad, I believe, did the ceremony, right? Or the
Yep, my dad did the
officiation.
ceremony. Yep, he sure did. Right there in the living room, we had our dog Tyra, was a dog I grew up with since I was a sophomore in high school. She's no longer with us, but
RIP.
and Lyric, her little 6 year old self, mom, dad, my two cousins, Samaya and Khalil. And Khalil used to also be in the group Real Recognize Real and worked at the camp with us as well. So he was there from like the beginning of our relationship.
Dang. So like this is that see, that's how you know it's meant to be. It's all these deep roots. They're just like which come to find out even further deep roots. Like I think she mentioned that you guys that camp you guys taught at, that was a camp you guys both went to years ago that you guys just I think didn't realize until like later or something like that.
Yep, later, and didn't know that we did, and we never saw. And I feel like, and I feel so crazy. It's like after she says that she was there, it's like, oh, I do remember like
That was
seeing
you?
her.
Like
That was you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I do. Like, and we both grew up in that camp. And I when I mean like we never talked to each other and never saw like never has. And it wasn't until she said that she used to go to the camp, it was like God like lifted like a little shroud and was like I had something between you guys where you guys were like, I know this is gonna sound weird, right?
no,
But like
spit it
I
out.
had I had something between you guys where like I wouldn't allow you guys to like see or like actually like notice each other even though you were like in the same places. Because there's like two or three other things we were like in the same place, and it was like, man, we never like knew each other. Like we never ran into each other. Like you hung around who? I used to hang around with such and such. Oh, you went to there too? Oh, we used to go there all the time. The Boys and Girls Club. How could we never have run into each other?
No,
You know?
dude, it only makes sense when he's like, bruh, like these avocados aren't ripe yet. Like I gotta put you guys away, let you
Yeah.
guys, mature more before I make this bomb guacamole.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, br- okay, I'm not trying to. Can we like applause? I thought it was like probably like the best ever like comparison I could ever like. I'm just like I'm gonna put a little applause right here,
Yes, put the
guacamole
applause on there. I love that guacamole. Mm-hmm.
imagery right there. It's no, dude, I
Avocados.
I get it more than anything because I so me and my wife, people know the story. I don't know if you know. I met her when we were in middle school,
Oh, dope.
and it's very much like again, like the story goes how we kind of started talking, how we met. We weren't friends. Like she said, I was like annoying, and that has bothered me. I'm just like, who do you get to just tell me I'm something? And I'm like, I'm gonna be annoying, and
Yeah.
she had boobs, and that's what I noticed. So I mean, there was definitely something going there, but
Right.
it was yeah, no, dude, she hated my guts, and it's just like that. Like I didn't even think she was super pretty. Like not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, honey. I'm roasting you low key, but
Wow, I can't believe that.
I'm like, yeah, that she
Wow.
was
Wow,
she
not
had
super pretty. Well,
she
tell me who was super pretty, Tristan,
her
back
sister,
then.
her twin sister. That's I'm just kidding. Okay,
Oh,
I
no,
can't. Okay, I love you, baby. I love you. I love you.
tell
I
me she
love
doesn't really
you.
have a twin. That has to not be true. No, really? Oh, wow.
No, it's funny
Wow.
because in high school where we were, her twin was Courtney. Because if she listened, Courtney's cooler. That's her sister. She's Brittany. Our sister's Courtney. She's way more cooler, and she was like the super prude. It just like the that's not nice, and she was always mean to me. Come to find
Mm,
out, she was being mean to me because she had a crush on me, but she couldn't like
mm.
say nice things about me. She just had to treat me like garbage. So I don't. I don't know, but no, I'm a firm believer that like same as that. It's like I think God like he's like, hey, I don't want to feel like God's like God told me she had boobs, but like I think God's like, hey, you should talk to her more. You should like just kind of keep that door open. And it was just kind of interesting how our relationship was. It's like we didn't start technically. We had one date in 10th grade. That was the worst date I've ever had. And she'll say the same thing. She's like, that date was awful. And we didn't talk for 2 years after that and started dating after high school. And it was just like, also, probably same as you, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of valleys and peaks. And yeah, no, and now I'm happily married her for it was 7 years in September. So yeah.
Oh man, congratulations, man.
No,
In
it's
September.
yeah. I mean, we really like the Earth, Wind, and Fire song. Like every freaking person does. Apparently, that's
Wow.
like the most like popular wedding
Do
date
you
now.
remember?
21st of September. Yeah, but see, Brody's playing the bad. Okay. Anyways, marriage. I get it. That's rad. That's cool. I mean, and I she touched a little bit about Lyric's mom was kind
Yeah.
of that was a trial, you
Oh
know.
yeah, man.
She kind
Yeah.
of stood by and kind of like maybe I think even had some times when you guys weren't. Was actually wait, was that the time when you guys were like figuring out the friendship? Was when you were I think when because she mentioned about a break or something.
A bad break between me and her.
It was like she's like, "Hey, I'm
Oh.
not gonna like talk to you like that or be like
Oh
about this."
yeah, man. See, I skipped over that part,
I'm
man.
sorry. You can yell at
No.
her. You can be like, "Baby, why you telling all these strangers our business?"
Oh wow, she did it. So yeah, man. Gosh, Lee, man.
I hope.
Um,
Hey, I can hardcore. I can edit this out. I'm not.
no. It's me. Like it's me thinking like, oh man, this is kind of. I didn't want to be vulnerable on a Saturday morning. It's sunny outside.
Surprise, motherfucker.
You came to the wrong podcast. Open up, just like.
Man, bro. So yeah, man. So like when me and her kind of like got together, kind of overlapped with another relationship that I was in, like basically like lustfully, man. Where it just was about the sex, man, and maybe like going out to like a movie or something like that.
Sex in the you
Sex in
know
a movie, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
good time for sure.
Yeah, good times, right? And so, man, and so it overlapped with me meeting Ambrosia, right? And so, like I said, when we first got together, me and her were like really just friends. We really actually were just friends. And so that other relationship, man, I still kept, dibbling and dabbling, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, eventually Ambrosia was like, so we're gonna have to make a decision on what me and you are going to be. Because if not, we're gonna ruin what we're supposed to be,
So
right?
this is pre-hand holding. She's like, I want to hold your hand, but
Oh
like,
no, I had started the hand holding, man.
okay,
And yeah, so I was dishonest. I was
okay,
dishonest about what, I was still in and still had going on. And but I knew I didn't want to I knew I wanted to be, with Ambrosia like for real, like long term, right?
yeah.
But we just hadn't defined me and Ambrosia hadn't defined our relationship.
Maybe I can even ask something. Well, I mean, like, hey, not to, I'm not being a sexist pig about it, but like,
Hit me.
I struggle with a certain type of corn addiction.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like corn
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
cob. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. It's sex. I hear like sex addiction is very powerful as far as like in that in like the church and whatnot. And I mean, again, like I'm not trying to just write up Ambrosia. It's just like that's all she is. But like you were getting some with the other girl. You were having that physical relationship. So I kind of understand why it was like. I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask this question.
I see where you're going though, but I'm gonna let you get there.
When you were with Ambrosia, and again,
Hmm.
this is out of respect for you because I will say, Phil, I'm having a great time. A little side note to the side note, having an
Yeah,
excellent time. I don't want to disrespect you, and I definitely don't want to disrespect your wife. Did you
yeah,
guys? But I'm just gonna ask. Did you guys
yeah.
pretty much wait the entire time up until you guys got married?
No, we didn't. We did not wait and
Oh,
we did
you
not wait for.
harlots, you
Yeah,
Jezebels.
man.
Mm.
Yeah, now it wasn't as like frequent and open, right? But it wasn't as how can I put it? There was a how do I put this? It was a God conscious there. So what I would say
Okay.
was, it's like if when me and her did, it was like okay, that was kind of messed up. We probably shouldn't have done that, right? So like it's something that we're fighting to not do, right?
Because obviously you find them attractive, and obviously you love them though. But that's like a, I mean, that's a big contention, like a big point. of contention in the church where it's like, hey, like, dude, you gotta wait. You can't be sampling the cookie jar before y'all
Right, right,
make
right,
the
right,
decision.
right. And so you know, but the other place I was getting it from, man, that was never an an issue. At least not for them. But it was. It started feeling like more lonely for me. I started
Mm.
wanting more, but
Because you had this thing with Ambrosia, and then you'd have this physical thing with the other girl, and it's like it didn't hit the same. It's like this just feels kind of empty. Like it's like it just
yeah.
doesn't feel
Oh
like
man, yep. Very empty. Very
okay,
empty.
okay.
Very empty. And so it got to the point where Roger was like, "Okay, well, I'm done." I didn't
Mm,
know about all this, and I didn't know it was continuing. So I felt, first of all, she was lied to and misled, right? And it's so crazy because this was like this is gonna sound crazy, but this was the first time I had ever done that to a girl, as far as like, the lying or deceiving type of thing, as far as like being with someone else. Like there were two times in my life where I was serious about a relationship, and that happened to me, right?
mm.
Where girls that did that to me, where it's like a whole totally another dude, or cheating on me and different stuff of that nature. I had never been in a relationship, and I had done it before. And so that's why I tried not to define me in Ambrosia's relationship or put a label on it, because I knew what else that I was doing, right? But still, when she let me know that the betrayal was still the same, that's when it was like, oh,
I messed up. I
I
like.
messed up.
Did you you mind if I ask like kind of like what like and then dude, there's no judgment here because like
No, go ahead.
there's
You
like
good.
I mean I think I told you. I mean the addictions are real, like sex is just fun. Like it's just that
Yeah.
kind of stuff is fun and it's like it's yeah, I guess I what led you to like kind of double dip or like maybe not necessarily hide it from Ambrosia, but like was there any type of conscious of like what am I doing or did this
Yeah,
just
yeah,
really not
yeah.
happen until you never noticed or had that conversation until like oh that's right I'm doing this thing this is not right
Oh no. So what happened was is that I started communicating to the other girl that I was done. I'm not doing that anymore. I can't do this anymore. This is it. Like this is for real. I'm done. Right. That is when she somehow got Ambrosia's contact information, and hey, just to let you know, we've been doing this, and this, and said all those things, right? And I had every intention to go and tell Ambrosia, right? And actually, the girl that ended up dropping me off at the same job that me and Ambrosia was working at, not the camp, but we both were working at a sun school camp, a
mm,
sun after school program at a school. And I was coming in there, and I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm gonna let Ambrosia know that me and her need to talk today. And so I went into the school and like, hey, when we get done today, just want to make sure that me and you're able to sit down and talk. And she was just like, I bet. And I was like, you bet?
like
What do you mean?
excuse like oh
Yeah,
did
what do you
did you
mean?
immediately guess like oh crap she knows though or you just like what
I was just like, oh no, there's no way that she knows, but it feels like she knows, but there's no way that she knows. But come to find out, yeah, she got her kind of information, and she told her everything before I could even get to her.
Mhm.
And and that 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 was the beginning of me like, okay, man, like that hurt to see her hurt like that.
Yeah,
And it just was just like, dang, bro, like I tried not to put a label on this to avoid this because I hadn't matured to the point where I was to stop doing that so I could fully engage right here. Right.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what it was for me, man. And so when I seen that how it was affecting Ambrosia, it broke me, you know what I'm saying? But then, saying you still lust, you know what I'm saying? So you're just like, dang, man, bro, like, but how do I make this work? And so eventually she just got to the point where like, hey, either we're messing up what this is supposed to be. And the longer I stay here, like either I think like basically like at my parents' house or being around me all the time, she says the less likely we'll be what we're supposed to be. So you have to make a decision. And so I'm going to give you space to make your decision. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then the last sentence she said to me was a critical one because she says, and oh, yeah, and just to let you know, I'm not going to be waiting forever. I'm not going to be waiting for you.
Mm,
Like, I'm giving you space to make your decision, but it's not like I'm just going to be
you know Exactly. Waiting for you to make the right decision. Like if I
Right,
clearly
yeah,
see
yeah.
you are not making good decisions, well then I understand like, hey, maybe it's gotta do some moving of my own or like some
Yeah, moving and shaking them on, or there may be
mm,
somebody else out there for me that will make the right decision.
mm,
Man, she said that. I'm like, Lord, fix me.
just submit. This
Just
Lord,
admit,
I
man, I'm
cast
not
my
about to.
worries and cares upon you.
I'm not about to lose this girl. Like I'm. This is where I'm supposed to be at. And man, I could really get into that, man. I don't know how much time we have. What we got? But I think like for me, because we went through all that, and then we ended up getting married. And for the first couple years of my marriage, for the first 2 years of my marriage, the same with you, I struggled with corn. You know what I'm saying? The first couple years of my marriage, right?
Right. Popcorn, corn on the cob, cream corn.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
a
man.
lot.
And so I struggled with that, and it was the Lord had revealed to me that it was hindering me from being healed in places
Interesting.
because I had never forgiven myself for the things that I had did to her. You know, I hadn't forgiven myself, and I always felt like I was at a deficit within our marriage
Mm,
that I always was going to owe her. And when you always feel like you owe somebody, you don't engage into the relationship the healthiest, man. And so for me, it was just like, okay, how do you how you're not healing, you know what I'm saying? And one of the ways that was hindering my healing, man, was me really diving into a lot of that lustful corn and stuff like that. So
mm,
I had to come clean to her one day, like, hey, this is what I was, have been doing. This is, whatever, too. This is what I need some help with. And she was like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. She was like, okay, well, just don't touch me right now. I'm a little disgusted. That was
mm.
her first reaction to me. Now
Ouch.
she embraced me like later on or whatnot, but at first her first thing was just like, ugh.
That's hard.
Uh, yeah, man, that was hard, man. And so, but she came around. I just naturally, my wife is, and I tease her, so I can say it. Naturally, she's prude.
There goes that word again. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, 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 she is. But I mean, she's opened up a lot more of, us being married and stuff like that. But I think she is just the ultimate, like, she's very queenly,
mm.
Like it used to be like, no, I don't feel like doing it tonight. The dishes aren't done. Like simple stuff like that. So like, oh, this, just simple stuff like that. She was just so prissy. I love her.
That's
But she,
prissy.
yes,
Come
man.
on,
But
bros. I mean, I get it. Hey,
yeah.
you want royalty. You want that like my woman is a strong, powerful woman, but also it's like, bro, like you telling me the three spoons in the sink, that's really like what's like that's preventing the Marvin Gaye from coming on. That's what's really
Yes,
stopping
man.
that. Like I
That is what's
okay.
going on, man. I mean, now we've gotten a lot better now that, we've been married for a while and some deliverance in some areas and stuff like that. But early on, man, that's what it was, man. But she's like totally grown. We've both grown in those areas. It's just, yeah. So, yeah, man, it took me years to forgive myself, man, that I always felt like I owed her. And
Interesting.
it got to like a point where she started getting irritated because she was like, hey, I didn't notice you still felt that way. I've been forgave you for that. But the fact that you haven't forgiven yourself means that you've been functioning in our relationship with that unhealed place. And so then that makes it newer for me, if that makes sense. Like I've gotten over it. Like
Can you
I've
kind of explain that a
forgiven
little
you.
bit? Like I feel like I get it, but I might be missing a part. Like keep.
Yeah. So like she's like, hey, I forgave you for that. You know what I'm saying? I've forgiven you for what you did before we got married, with the other girl. Like I forgive you for that. But you not forgiving yourself. And for me to know that you've brought that into our marriage, that unforgiveness is like you're making it fresh for me.
Like
Like,
she had to relive it kind of thing though. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, I
Interesting.
don't want to keep talking about that. Like
Mm,
I've gotten over it and forgiven you for it. Like I've moved on. Obviously, I've moved on. We're married. We're intimate. We're growing. Like, and then you're bringing it back up to me. I'm like, I ain't talking about her. You need to go somewhere and get healed about that because I'm good. Like, and that's what it was, man. But I had to end up like really getting healed from that, man. Actually forgiving myself for what I did. Yeah, always living in that place.
I mean, talking about like And I really hope like there's no judgment in my voice, my
No, man,
demeanor, because
ask it.
like no, it's not even just asking questions, just more just like having this conversation. Like I'm not in a relationship, you ain't dating me, but I definitely forgive you because it's like I don't know, it's growing up is hard, and
Hmm.
like I don't know, it's like granted, me and my wife have been married for 7 years, and like this was like the year. I mean, I'm not saying anything people don't technically know, and if you don't know, well, surprise. Yeah, this was the year me and Britt were talking about divorce. It
Yeah,
was real. Like it was like some things came up though, like that. Me and her are trying to talk about if we're gonna do an episode about it because I think it would be like insightful and helpful. But like we've always been like the couple of people like, oh, you guys are so cute, you're so perfect. But it's like if
yeah,
you only knew kind of thing. And
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, just it as a man that struggles with corn, it like my addiction's not different for people, but like the thing, and I'm not saying like the thing I struggle with, it's just like our specific weird issue is something that not a lot of couples that I know deal with. So
Yeah,
for me, it's hard because it's like, in a way, I've made it like, okay, now I have a justification for my consumption of corn.
yeah,
And again, like I said, I definitely forgive you because like I don't know, I'm very familiar that like unfortunately again, maybe not even just Christian men, but just like most men struggle with just again lustful thoughts, like just, doing this whole monogamy thing like correctly and,
yeah,
error free. I mean, it's almost nasty when you think about like nowadays how everyone's like doing thruples and open relationships and just like stuff where I'm like, bro, this isn't a marriage. This is a damn carnival ride. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
I guess I'm more just saying, just again, I really want to be clear. Like, I'm not judging because like I have my own struggles that I might share
Hmm.
with maybe
Yeah, no,
off
I
the
appreciate that.
episode, maybe later, but just, yeah, I wanted to make that clear. That said, now we're in victory. Your wife ended up forgiving you. And
Yes.
I mean, from the moment you guys get married to like that conversation,
Yeah.
how much time was that?
Gosh, we're talking about almost a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
so sometimes happens. So I mean, but that 2 year mark, you guys really were like, no, we're gonna do this for real. We're gonna like, I guess I'd ask is how did you kind of go about that
Yeah.
self-forgiveness way, or like, did you also have to go to like to do other like things?
Yeah. Man, I would say it just was a process. I was reflecting even recently, and I
Mm,
would say the process begun back then, but I wouldn't say that it wasn't even like really completed for real. Well, different levels to it. I think that
I like that answer.
yeah, it's different levels to it, man. Like, so I think it was the initial, like, okay, I recognize this thing, right? I haven't forgiven myself. My wife has. She's probably not the place for me to go to be like, hey, I still haven't forgiven myself about this thing, right? Because she's already shared, like, hey, I've kind of gotten over it, like, let's work through this. And now I wasn't at the point of like, I want to work through it. I'm just like, I still feel sorry that I did it, right? And so, it took some time and it like there's just different levels to it. So as we begin to just like work through it together, it just became to be a lot of me letting it go and like me resting in the fact that not only has God forgiven me, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I had to stop trying to find my peace in the fact that, you know, she had forgiven me and then trying to forgive myself. I had to really go to the Lord and figure
Yeah.
out the fact that I needed to rest in the fact that He had forgiven me.
Yeah, like you don't got to carry this yoke anymore. You can let it
Mm-hmm.
go. Take up
Mm-hmm.
his. And I'm just ask like, when did the corn addiction, when did that stop? Did that like, is that something that had to be an ongoing thing though, or like did you have to really
Yeah.
like change that at that
Yeah.
time?
Man, I would say it was I don't want to say it was like immediate, like Paul going off of the getting knocked off his horse and stopping persecuting Christians, right?
Yeah.
On his road to Damascus. I would love to say it was like that. I want to say, man, like when I intentionally got to it, man, it probably was about maybe a year, man. Maybe
Okay. I mean,
that
but
it
bro,
took for
bro,
me to,
that's still props, man, 'cause like,
yeah.
bruh,
No, I get
okay.
it. No, no, absolutely. Like, And when I say a year, it just was like it was like a dwindle where it used to be like, oh man, 4 or 5 times a week, or like, oh now it's three, or like, oh I haven't done it in like 3 months, or like, oh now I haven't done it in like, you know
Exactly.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just taking those swings at it, man, until when it was just like, oh yeah, I haven't done that in like a year now, or I haven't done that in like a, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how that piece kind of went for me. And honestly, the more that I was able to kind of like knock that thing out, like, of course through the power of the Holy Spirit, I was not by myself, but I think the more that I did that, man, the more I was able to kind of be
See those
healed.
victories and that. Well,
Yeah.
because I guess I'm trying to like link them. Like, do you think like that when that self-forgiveness came, like you kind of stopped doing that as much
Hmm.
either? Like, not
Man,
saying one fed the
yeah,
other,
no,
but kind of
right.
maybe.
No, I no, absolutely I agree. I think one of the things, like I said, the Lord revealed to me is like, man, like, hey, like you continuously diving into this thing right here, it's hindered you from healing yourself. I mean, hinder you from being healed. And so I want to say it was kind of like simultaneously. Yeah, that's the only thing I can say. I think it was just simultaneously like working on both of them. And at the same time, I think God was just healing me. And I guess I seen less of a need for it. You
Amen.
know, I
Amen.
seen less of a need for it. I think at that time we started working on like some of our intimacy as well and having like real
Okay.
raw conversations.
Hey,
And
that's what's
and
up.
it just became to be like just less of a outlet. Thank you. That's a good word. It
There you
became
go.
less of an outlet for me. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
feel that.
yeah, I found that in other places that were more like spiritually and physically like edifying, man. So that's kind of
How
like
many kids y'all got?
four altogether. So we
Four.
got the 19-year-old, then we got the 9, 6, and 2-year-old.
I can imagine that that many kids probably also like kind of slows that down too, because you're like, bro, I ain't got time for it. Like I
Well,
just
yeah,
like
but ironically, no, like because we didn't have them until that was done. Like, so remember I told you it was a 5-year gap. We get married and
that's
we don't have
right.
another kid for 5 years.
Okay.
And so we were just trying to, one of the reasons why is because it was like a money thing. I think like, at the same time, like me and the wife were like, man, we want to have like be a little bit in a better situation. She wanted to kind of finish some things with school and
Absolutely.
me kind of get like a career going. And so I'd got this job working at Friends of the Children, and it was like a
Mm.
career job, right? Salaried, right?
What's it do or
And
what's the kind of job?
so it was basically social work, the way that we worked in before, being a professional mentor.
Okay,
And
interesting.
so it must have been around that time that, we kind of felt comfortable enough to be like, let's swing at it, you know?
Which good for you. I mean, and dude, I totally get it because it's like there's kind of like again, you want to have like some money doesn't make a kid happy, but you want to have that
No.
kind of like level where it's like, you trying to again, do we want to eat out tonight or like do we want to get you new clothes kind of thing? Like you don't want to be having those conversations like that.
No, 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 man. You don't. That's kind of like where we were. Like I said, we had 5 years. So by the time like, little Shanoa comes around, like, the forgiveness part and stuff like that was all like pretty much done for me. Like, like I said, it was levels to it, but by the time I had our second child, it was like, you know, it's time to fly now, man.
No, amen. And I mean I think I'm also asking because funny enough is I also do this cast because it's like I'm not asking questions for the audience. A lot of times I'm just asking questions for me because it's like this is kind of where I'm at, or this is where my kind of level is.
Yeah.
And no, me and Britt would love to have babies. Like we kind of been talking about it, but okay, we're not disclosing too much. If anyone's mildly interested, there's I don't think it's there anymore. You have to look it up on YouTube, but it's a Jubilee vid. I'm pretty sure if you put Brittany Allen Jubilee in YouTube, you can see the video and you'll be aware of the difficulty that we struggle with. Again, it's our testimony. It's her testimony technically, but it's like it's something we're still low key kind of like working through. Granted, this has been the
Come,
most successful, like we're taking care of business kind of stuff, but it's
come on.
man, stop. Don't be so I love it though. You're it's that coaching in you, man. You just slipped on that jacket. You didn't even think nothing of it.
No, man.
Oh man's cooking right now emotionally. He's cooking. Let him cook.
No, yeah, man. Just be like, come on with it, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I just I'm feeling some type of way when you're sharing your story because like I feel empowered and like I don't know. I've been struggling with this thing for so long, and I know it's preventing me from getting healed, and I
Yeah,
know it's preventing me from doors and opportunities open. But it's just like
yeah,
it kind of low key sucks. Like you don't want the Paul situation, but Paul didn't have a choice. There's like I'm taking your eyesight. I don't
yeah,
want God to do that to me, but like
yeah,
maybe I might need something like that to actually
yeah,
turn because like I just feel like I don't know. Grant, things are getting better. Things are going good, and he's not asking a lot. He's asking just like, bro, just like, just don't do that thing. That's all. That's
yeah,
just don't do it. Do something else, but just don't do that. But
yeah,
like, I don't know. I keep feel like I keep making excuses for myself,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I don't know if that's what you were struggling with, but just like that's, I don't know how to keep fumbling that, I guess.
yeah. And I think it's really just about like the outlet piece, man. And remember, when we were just talking, I was like, "What is the word?" And that word outlet hit me, and I think,
Outlet.
yeah, man, it's like an outlet, man. Like, what is this trying to satisfy?
Yeah.
What is this trying to feed? What is the thing that is either missing that has me here in that moment? Like, what am I getting from it? What is it? Because there's something physical that I'm getting from it, but really it's something spiritual and something emotional that is aiming to be fed here. What is that thing? And I think having that discovery for me was like, well, really I think for me, I wanted to feel more of like a man or like a good man. I think I wanted to feel like more husband like. And I feel like there are some emotional areas that my wife was not as, you're doing a good job, or you're a good husband, or you're
Mm,
this. That wasn't verbal for me. And she wasn't as emotional as I was. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I was like lacking in those areas a little bit of some of that patting on the back type of stuff, man, and I was just seeking the gratification there. And I think men find themselves in that place for a plethora of different reasons, depending on who they are. It may be the same outlet, but it's a different reason. And so I think
bro,
the
bro,
first thing we do is kind of figure it out.
you're so deep. Like it's like. But we haven't even got to like your therapy part yet of the story, but like, dude, like you found it. Like, I don't know. Like you're really like, oh, you're so easy to talk to, bro. You're so easy to talk to. Like
Oh, bless you.
nah, no, you brought it down to the core.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, bless
I
you.
might, with your permission, I guess if I'm being vulnerable too, I might delete this. I don't know. Part of this is
Hmm.
vulnerability people can relate and enjoy, but also it's none of their business. But
Hmm.
I think the reason why I outlet is because of that it's that desire, like the want to be wanted kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
just again, like it's you're right, there's that physical instant gratification kind of thing though, but it's like that. I had some hard like little conversations today while we were like AFKB right back in, but man, I don't know.
Hmm.
I think I gotta have some real conversations uh
Yeah.
with myself and maybe with my spouse and just thank you, man. That was I know
No.
this episode like it's your episode, but like sometimes like bro, this is for me as much as it's for you. Like
Man,
I
wherever
appreciate
it
you, bro.
go is where it go. Wherever it
Um,
goes, is where it go. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're hitting about that time. It's got about technically 5, 10 minutes.
Mm.
We could put a pin right now.
Now we can just keep going.
You vibing?
Oh, I'm
I don't,
vibing, man.
all right, all
Yeah,
right.
no,
I don't
I'm
want you to
just,
get in trouble, man.
I'm not about to get in trouble. I'm sending the text messages right now. It's all good.
You're
Yeah,
like,
what
this
I'm
is a
doing is
beautiful, godly moment. Like,
yeah, no, it's all good, man. Like I said, it's a work, not just, but it's a workout.
no, I
But
feel you. I feel you.
yeah,
And
but
if
yeah,
anything,
no.
like when you were yawning, I'm like, bro, this is an emotional workout, but like a real healing one. Like we're both just like, all right, we're gonna do a
Hmm.
little bit of trauma dumping, a little bit of vulnerability, little like trust fall exercises. Gonna
Yeah.
try it out. We're gonna sleep good tonight. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna sleep real good tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, no, we're good. But yeah, I just think, just kind of figuring it out. Why am I here?
Well,
Why, what does it
look,
do for me?
you're praying, man. I'd only ask you to pray
Hmm.
for the growth of this show and
I will.
definitely just pray for like just reminder that just self-esteem wise. Like I that's one thing I'm thinking about. It's like, man, why do I don't know. I have this big thing like I don't know if people like me and stuff, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm doing what that ex was doing. That's just like, like you were gonna be somebody. I'm never gonna be like I'm doing that. But like why do I need to do that? I am somebody.
Come
I'm
on.
going to be somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
I don't need that stuff.
Absolutely. 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 Nah, yeah, man. Like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Opes podcast, baby, where we talk about self-value, self-love, and other thing. I can't think of like the last thing we'd be talking about, but like corn on the cob. That's what we talk about. Real ass conversations.
Yeah,
Boom. I guess we'll just get okay. So the big brother, the counseling thing. I mean, like,
yeah.
I don't think we even touched on. Was this before or after you were potentially getting into like ministry or preaching?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So preaching, man, I had figured out that that's what I was one of the things I was called to do. Like, gosh, I probably was like 18 or 19. I had this big revelation, like, oh man, I think I may be called to do that, But I had always stayed away from it for like as long as possible. And I think it wasn't even 18 or 19. It's probably like 21, man, maybe even 22.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But because I had always stayed away from it because my dad was a preacher.
Mm,
So it was like, I don't know if I want to be that. I don't know if I want to do that. But then also, my dad was always on my head, like, hey, you make sure you hear from God for yourself. Don't let no man or nobody tell you that you're
mm,
supposed to preach just because I do. I've seen a
interesting.
lot. Yeah, my dad was always like, I've seen a lot of people who try to preach or try to pastor just because their dad did it or just because their parent did it. And it's like, oh,
Mm,
automatically that's what I'm supposed to be. And it's like, nah, you hear from God for yourself. My dad always taught me that.
facts.
I was always at the forefront of my mind. So yeah, around like 20, 21, man, I actually started like, doing trial sermons and trying to preach and just growing in that area.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, like, did he tell you kind of like one day though, or like, was it just like,
No, yeah, he
all right,
actually did tell me like, oh yeah, you're called to do this. I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, this is a big revelation for me. Let me go share with my mom. Hey, mom, I think I'm called to like, mom, I got something to tell you. Got something to tell you. And I remember her being in the kitchen, Phillip, what is it? 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 And I'm like, I think I'm called to preach. And she was just like, ah, I thought you really had something to tell me. I already knew that.
aw.
And I'm like, and she went back to washing dishes.
It hit you with the that's nice, dear. Like,
Yeah, like
like
that's there's like she's like, I thought you really had something to tell me. Like I already knew that.
this is
Like
new
that may be
information. Come
new
on.
information to you, but not to me. All right.
Mhm.
Like I've
This,
already been praying for you, praying what for for God to do what he's gonna do in your life. I
okay.
thought you had something big to share with me.
Well, so you have this revelation, and I mean, like, what happens? Like, you go to your pastor, your parishioners, the head guy, be like, hey, I want to preach a
Yeah.
sermon, or like, how's
Yeah.
that look out?
Well, I was just like, hey, I think I'm called to do this. And it was like, okay, well, we're gonna try you out on some. No, actually, I'll take that back. I shared it with them, and it was just like, oh, well, there wasn't too much of a response at the church that I was at the time.
Hmm.
And then I ended up getting invited to preach at another church. And so I invited my pastor who ended up coming to the service. It was a youth service that I preached at. And everybody was like, man, that was a really good job, really good word, bless me. And then the pastor shares that he was offended, basically, that basically I had preached at another church before I had preached at my home church, right? And it was like, but yeah,
I
you
told
mean that?
you, like, okay, I
Uh,
told you, you were like, you hit me with the that's nice. I go to this other church, and they're just like, can you do Sunday? Like,
yes, that type of thing. But I didn't really understand all the see. People think this, man.
hmm.
Just because I grew up in church, and this is yeah, 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 yeah.
No,
I need to get
this is a real conversation. I like what
Yeah, I gotta
you
get this off
cooking,
my chest.
you
Yeah,
cooking.
man. So one of the things is just because I grew up in church, man, I also there's a part of church culture that I still just didn't get
Hmm.
as far as the politics of it. And so like I was a part of it, I'm in it. There's things that I know, but it's also things that I'm not like was never felt like savvy in or a part of all the way. Like I felt
Mm.
like I was in church, but not really like with the.
I guess were you not like serving, like you weren't always ushering or greeting or doing coffee
No,
cups, like
what I meant by that was I wasn't really like popular, like popular
mm,
people like or like seen as like super gifted in like preaching or in black, you know, what I'm saying in our black church context. There's a lot of other young guys who were like better orators than I was, more popular than I was, and I just
interesting.
did, and I just didn't know how to navigate the nuances of like, well, I'm not trying to be popular. I want to figure out how I could be the best person. You know what
Right.
I'm
No,
saying?
real shit.
Yeah, understanding that the best message preached is not the one that is actually preached, it's the one that's actually lived.
Yeah,
So like
amen.
really trying to work on that living part, man, even though I was imperfected, even though I was like not perfect at doing it, man, I think like I focused more on like what does my life look like more than how gifted or talented I am.
See, I'm glad you said something like that because that's the whole reason why I'm afraid. Because, well, okay, so I don't know if I would be a fairly decent preacher. I do
Yes.
have heart convictions. I do have like I can sometimes speak truth and love into people's lives. Do I live like that? Absolutely not, which is part of the fear why I would not. I guess I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
Always wanted to write a sermon. I've always like had like okay like this I think would be a really good thing. But exactly, I don't think I'd live like it. I'm not the most Christian-y. I'm not like you said. I'm not with the politics. I'm not like super not well known. I'm not like the church boy. I'm
Yeah.
an outsider. And I do have that exact fear, which is why I've never pursued that. But like, I guess what you're trying to explain is like, do you need to get over that fear? Like by you
Mhm.
going over that fear, you found out actually you really did have a gift, and it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You keep cooking, I guess, because
Yeah. Yeah.
glad you're
No,
saying this,
absolutely.
because I'm not sure. I guess I'm also kind of asking. I don't know. Do I give the vibe? I don't know. Do I seem like I'd be a decent preacher? I know it's a weird question to ask, but like
Yeah. Man, yes. So I mean, I mean, shucks. It almost is like I don't want to just say anybody with a podcast. It must have some type of oratable ability, right? Ability to orate, right?
facts.
Uh, so yeah, and I it's so crazy because I've just been working on my wife as well, right? And I was like, hey, you gonna preach or teach one day. She's always been like, no, nope, not me, nope. I hate hearing my voice. I hate doing this out of whoop. And so
Oh
then
God.
and then I was like, babe, I'm telling you, I hear it, I see it. And I had to point out to her one day, I said, you're a business coach, but you teach 2 or 3 times a week in high schools or middle schools. And she was like, wow, I never thought about it. So you're teaching in front of a class like 2 or 3 times a week to high schoolers. And I'm telling you now, if you can keep the attention of a high schooler or a middle schooler
You
for
got
long,
something,
you
baby.
got something in there,
You
man.
you got
Like,
something.
you got something, man. You got something to share, man. Yeah, man. I just would just say, like, Lord, what is this? And it doesn't have to involve necessarily a pulpit. You know, it can involve just this right here, this platform right here, but also there could be places and opportunities to share within the church as well. This could be a Bible group. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? A small group, where you lead a small group. Like it's not always just, the mic and the stage where the preaching can happen. And I know that. I
Mm.
know that because I had a teenager who I would have conversations with in bedrooms, and she would be like, "Stop preaching to me," you
Ooh.
know, and I'm like, "I'm not preaching, I'm just talking."
You're
But
just saying words right now, man. That's just how I do. That's my vocal style. Come
that's
on.
it. That's just my vocal style. But when someone lives with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a what does the Bible say? Jesus told him, he said, "Hey, well, listen, a prophet isn't welcome in their own house," right? So I think there's a piece of it where like people who are so familiar with you sometimes can be a little
Combative.
uh yeah, combative or just deaf or numb to the things that God is showing you, you
Amen.
know, because
Amen.
they're just so close to you. It's like so normative, right? But somebody else on the outside is like, that was dope. That
Yeah.
was cool. That blessed me. That impacted me because they aren't used to you,
Well,
you know?
let's loop around to like, how did you figure out specifically that you needed to be on that stage? Like, what? led you there. And you said you had to go to another church
Mhm.
to kind of get that out. How did that go about, like that process?
Yeah, so I think afterwards, I think people were just, they would see like, oh, what he does, speak or preach. And then I think when we were ministering and rapping and doing like breaking, and the place would break out into like worship or prayer, I would exhort during those times.
Mm.
So
You gotta tell me what that is. Like I know what it is. I still know the definition, but like,
yeah, so basically like, we're doing this song and like a word from the Lord to kind of like pop up to me. And I was just like, oh, okay, let me just share that with the people in the middle of us doing this song where the musicians are just playing. Cause we used to do live instrumentation. Like we did like, we are a rap hip hop group, but we did live instruments. So we had a
heck
band,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so we were able to, because of that, we were able to have these, I would call them these flexible moments where we could have more spontaneity than just a track. And so these moments would happen. I would begin to share what the Lord was sharing with my spirit in that atmosphere at that time, and altar calls would happen, or we would end up praying for people.
altar call.
Yeah, and so those are the things that I would just like. That's how I was able to kind of get out some of that preaching that was in me without necessarily having to go around and beg or ask to be on different people's like stages or whatnot. It just was like when we went to go and minister or when we to go do a concert or something like that, some of those things just like naturally happen,
Yeah,
and that's just what it was.
but I guess tell me about your first sermon then. Like, how did that go about? Like, did you actually have to go to another church and say, "Hey, I want to do this," or like,
No, 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 no. What the youth pastor just asked me. I don't know
okay,
if he saw me perform before, but he asked me. I go there, and I am nervous as heck.
yeah,
Nervous as heck. I had never preached a full first sermon before
to
at all.
teenagers too.
Man, to teenage. I mean, there was adults in there too, but it's like, this is a youth group,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't even remember what the message was about. I wish I could,
Shame.
but I don't even remember what it was. I just remember the experience.
Oh yeah, just the feeling, the power. Just like, people were, I bet people's lives were changed, or at least they were just like, they dug what you had to say.
Yeah. But yeah, I was looking at all my notes and stuff like that, and I do remember the aspects of like trying to make sure don't forget anything. Must
What?
say everything in notebook.
Nice, nice.
If you miss it, it's gonna all fail. Must say everything.
Oh, no pressure. No pressure. No pressure whatsoever.
No pressure at all,
No
man. None at
pressure.
all. So yeah, I do remember that, man. But yeah, after that, I think I just kind of just started exercising my gift through the concerts and stuff we would do.
Heck yeah. So you started doing, was that again, that was just when you were doing Lifted, or was this like again like later in life you were doing like worship stuff?
No, this is lifted. I mean, it happens sometimes where we're recognized real, but really lifted during that period is like really when I did most of my preaching or exhorting when we went to go out to concerts or perform in different places. But then also during that time, right around the time me and the wife got married, like within our first year of marriage, like we
Mm.
changed and went to a different church.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's why I'm trying to figure out kind of like what,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. So when we
okay.
changed and went to a different church, totally different, man. And these people like Apostle Provine and Turner and Lady V Turner, like they became like godparents. You know what I'm
I
saying?
heard about Lady V.
Yeah.
Brosia. Hopefully we can let her listen to it though. Sounds like she'd be a decent guest, or not even decent, like an amazing guest. Like she apparently is. I love me some godly women,
Oh
and she
yeah.
sounds like she fills the teacup. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yes, 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 yes. That's Lady V, man. That's my god, my super, super dope lady, man. Man, I love her.
Heck yeah.
Her and Apostle Provine, man, they became like godparents to us, man.
Okay.
So when I got there, it was like, oh, this is what God got in you, and this is
Mm.
what we're about to cultivate. You know?
See, was that like a conversation you had, or like that just like
So
he saw
yes,
it, or like,
let me tell you, because it was
please?
it was tough, man. So I get there and I'm like, oh, I need to be someplace where I'm actually mentored. I need this, I need this, I need this. So I came to the church with the arrogance of saying that I can demand of them what they need to give me, right?
Mm.
And it didn't go over well with, especially with him. And so we bumped heads. And I had an arrogance about me, man.
Tell me about that. Like,
My arrogance was like, oh, I've grown a little bit, I've known a little bit, I've been speaking, I've been out a little bit, and so now I can tell a leader how he's what he needs to give to me for me to be there, you know? So it was some arrogance about me, man, some immaturity that was about me. And so, when we first kind of like got there and started getting involved in stuff like that, I was like, yeah, this place is supposed to be, but there was a lot of bumping of the heads,
Okay.
because I was immature, man.
Do you just have to have real conversations with you though, or like how did you like? Because he obviously he cultivated something, but like it took a process to get there. I'm guessing.
Yeah, so the process was this, man. Like it wasn't so much of me like him being like, you know what? Let's go out for coffee. Let's go out to this. It became to be him being open to me being able to be close enough to examine his life so that I can model it after all. So I can
Mm,
model it. And so, but what I wanted at first was to be able to have a mentor who just be like, no, come out to coffee with me. We're going to do these specific steps, A, B, C. And nothing is wrong with those things. I still would implement that type of mentorship. But how I was mentored was more so like be close enough to be in the vulnerable places of my life. And then I'm going to show you how I handle those things. And then you model that. You
mm,
model it. And that is how I would say that he more so like mentored me. And so it wasn't necessarily like an exact conversation that way, but he did share some different perspectives when I would hear him preach some places where he would talk about like, either me or like our relationship. And he would talk about how it was at the beginning when I first got there. And he's saying this over the pulpit in public, right?
oh boy.
And yeah, yeah, yeah. And so then he would say, and then, but look at him now, what I'm saying? Like, and he was right, man. Like, they had a church location in Chicago, the city that they actually grew up in.
Hmm.
And so like for 2016, man, I was just traveling there with them frequently. And I was able just to watch him. I was able to watch how he was with his wife. How did he travel? Who paid for what? How did they handle disagreements? Like I was able to like see all of that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
seeing some of those vulnerable places and seeing how he handled those things, and then me being able to even travel with them, traveling automatically expanded my horizons, right, as well.
Mm,
And so, man, that began to expand my horizons and begin to teach me maybe how I needed to treat my wife, how I needed to look at money, how I needed to function. And so I just began to model after the good model that was before me. And so, man, and then we just grew closer after that, you
bruh,
know?
I'm looking for that. Like every all the stuff you were saying, I was just like I'm in. I could use that, and I don't know. I think for me, because I definitely think I've either maybe not demanded, but like I think I've tried to force things that just weren't there or weren't right or were to be
Mm.
cultivated. I just I can't for again, and I'm sorry I'm being too vulnerable. I'm
No,
sharing
not
too
at
much of
all.
my
Uh-uh.
stuff.
No, no, no.
I find like people are just busy. Or
Mm-hmm.
it's like maybe I feel like under kind of like you were saying, like I'm not popular enough. Like I'm underestimated.
Yeah.
Like they don't see the value until like they're like,
Hmm.
oh, now you got that gift, Everyone else says they be
Yep.
seeing it in you though, but it's like they didn't treat you like you had that thing.
Hmm.
I
No,
don't know, I just
absolutely.
I don't know how to not, I guess, force that or like even how to look for that because like yeah, I don't. On one side, I do know what I'm missing, but like I think half
Hmm.
the luxury, like half the like thing why your mentor was so good for you is that he shared or he was like he was able to speak from a place of truth, like he was like he had
Hmm.
to the blessing of seeing you kind of maybe do things wrong before he's like, hey, this would think would have been a better way to handle it though, or like get
Hmm.
that lead by example of say, hey, watch me do this thing. So
Hmm. Yeah, and one of the other things I think he did that was powerful to me too, like he told me this one time. He said, there needs to be a breaking in you. You haven't allowed the Lord to break you. And I'm like, the Lord's broken me. I've cried before.
he's like, I'm not
That now
talking
needs
about
to be a
that.
break. There needs to be a breaking in you. And I'm just like, oh, you know. And I was speaking this one time at a men's thing that he was at, and it was only men in there, only men. And I was supposed to be. It was a part of not a panel, but like kind of like a seminar type format where like each speaker probably has about like 30 to 45 minutes, and they go to the next one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I'm in there just talking, and it's my piece, and I remember I get to the part of using my daughter as an example. My 19-year-old, she was 19 at the time, obviously.
Yeah,
of our oldest daughter, and I'm just sharing about like our situation, being a little bit vulnerable about like things that we were going through and facing, like with her mom. And man, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, man. I mean, out of nowhere, I'm just talking and I'm talking about, sometimes how hard it is as a father. And sometimes, you feel like you made these mistakes, but you're trying to rectify them with you. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, man, something just breaks at me while I'm up there. And I just start weeping. And I'm trying to talk through the tears, man. And it was really, really tough. And I remember like, I don't even know where this is coming from. Like, how did I even get here? You know what I'm saying? Like I was sharing with them about how the mistakes that I felt like I did as a father, the things that I didn't do right with my daughter, and I'm supposed to be preaching, or like at least teaching, I guess, right? And I just broke up there, man. And so that was the place where, afterwards, it wasn't even that day. It was like the next week, and it was during the service. He was preaching on a Sunday, and he just preaching his sermon, and he was just talking about like, and Minister Phillip, before I even have him come up here, like we went to the men's thing, and the Lord moved, and I had never saw him that emotional like that. And so he brings me up there, and he's just like, I never saw it. And so I remember telling him in front of the church, he said, "That's what the Lord wanted to break in you." He said, "That's what the Lord wanted to break in you." And it wasn't necessarily just about like there was something specific going on with like my daughter and stuff like that. What God wanted to break in me was the ability to be able to go and to feel in that place, like to be able to be that deep, to go deeper in Him. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to go deeper to a place where, you know, just the well just needs to go deeper.
yeah.
And and it was from that moment, man, like my maturity just began to just grow exponentially. Once I was broken to that place of, and it was humbling.
That was freeing.
It was freeing, man. Yeah. And so I just began to grow like exponentially from there. It was like go time after that. And not because like I was trying to push it. It just these things just started happening. My capacity grew, my ability to handle more, like everything. It just started.
How old were you? What year was this, if you don't mind me asking?
No, no problem at all. So I want to say Shanoa was she here now? Yeah, Chanel was here. Chanel had to be like a little baby. What year was Chanel born? 2015. So he probably looking at like about 2017,
Okay.
2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, actually 2017. Yeah.
that's powerful, man. I feel that. And like, ah man, it's just beautiful because it's just like I say, it's freeing. It's like you go there. The only way I can like describe it is just like when Jesus is on the chosen and like he just says the right thing you need to hear
Hmm.
and he takes you to that place and you're just like again, you can just feel everything purely and without
Hmm.
shame, and it's beautiful and it's sad and it's wonderful, and
Hmm.
man, just thank you for
Hmm.
letting me be there.
Oh
Like
man,
that
bless you,
was
man. Yeah.
this this is why I do the cast, baby. This is the real, this
Yeah.
is just to get there, man. It's well,
Yeah.
dude, I just praise God. So it's like, man, also all this stuff is happening. And when did the bakery even get involved in it? When did that business happen? Because I mean,
Yeah.
again, like it sounds like if anything, it's like, hey, you're doing the counseling thing, the perfect coaching thing,
Yeah.
preaching now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I want to clear, I don't. It's not that I don't do like counseling. I'm not a counselor. I'm just considered like a peer support specialist. So I work with counselors, just to get the
It's basically to
clarification.
like not give you the official title. So it's like it's not because that's technically, I guess, like licensed work. Because but I feel like what you do is like
Yeah,
you're walking
definitely.
alongside with these guys, right? Like you're
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We use a lot of the same frameworks and all of that. So absolutely. So yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm also not trying to get you sued, so I'm not trying to be calling you, the wrong thing and be
Hey,
like, no,
exactly, exactly. Baked goods have always been there. Like that was growing up. The baked goods have been there since I was like 9 years old, waking up on a Saturday and dad is making biscuits. All right.
yeah,
So yeah, he's
man.
always been doing that. That's always been a part of the legacy, man. It's a crazy thing because even when my wife started coming around, she was just like, what type of family is this? Like who wakes up on a Wednesday morning before they go to work and it's like, hey, I'm making cinnamon rolls today. And they just
Fresh,
make
just
cinnamon rolls,
smells
just fresh cinnamon
of the
rolls.
house,
And she
smelling
was like, this is so
amazing.
amazing. This is so amazing. I'll be like, oh yeah, it's cool. I'm good. I'm not gonna get none. And
That's
she was
that's
like,
that's Wednesdays. I don't like it's nothing. It ain't
it's
nothing.
nothing,
Like,
you know. She's like, that's supposed to be a special occasion, not just Wednesday morning.
no, dude, that's just one. Like, all
It's
right,
just
just
what
go
it
get one and
was.
whatever, you know.
Yeah,
It's
but
funny. It's just like she woke up into a Hallmark movie. She's like, "What kind of family is this?
I
Like, what the heck?"
straight up Hallmark movie, man. Straight up Hallmark. But yeah, no, that's so funny. But yeah, yeah, so that's always just been there as a part of the frame. And so I think, dad ended up getting like closer to a retirement age and, layered within all these other things that we've been talking about, been going on. Like as he was retiring, taking care of my granny until she passed in about 2014, he was taking care of her. And then he just need to find his hands to do something. So it's like, man, well, let's turn what you've been doing into a business. And I didn't really help him at that point in time. He just started doing it on his own, and he just would go
Right.
to, farmers markets. He would bake things, he'd wrap them up and take them, and it just started just going and growing from there. But I think around like 2018, 2019, I think I just saw a way for me to be able to help, him.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and I thought that that's basically what it started off as. Like I felt like led, like okay, the Lord wants me to try to help him. And it was my auntie too, because they used to kind of bake. They had separate businesses or whatever, but like they would be at the same events together and kind of would help each other out and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I
Okay.
remember the Lord just kind of like leading me to kind of like just help. You know what I'm saying? Like let me find a way where what I can do can be of help and be a blessing to them.
Absolutely.
So I came in, I helped my dad say, hey, we're gonna rebrand. We're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna try to be eco-friendly or eco-conscious.
We got a bunch of weak, grass drinking, vegan, brittle white people here, and we need to market to that
We need to
audience.
market to that,
Need to
okay?
market. Like it's all this dairy and eggs will break their bone. Oh man. But no, but I love it because I mean like it did well, let me just ask, did your rebranding, did that kind of really mix up the business? Like did he start seeing more of a return on his investment or like
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we grew after that. So like we started putting things into like more like paper type products and stuff like that to kind of
hmm,
like and then or biocompostable like
there you go.
products even for our sampling. So like we started doing those things just to kind of show like, hey, we're from Portland. We're with the movement, right? But no, I mean, in all seriousness, like just to kind of just be more in alignment with the demographic that we were serving. But then also we cut back on some of the sugar in our products as well because we wanted to become more like where you can have our business model would be you can have us at breakfast or a birthday party and you won't feel as guilty.
There you
So we
go.
had to find that really good sweet medium where it's like it's still a dessert, but it's not super like, oh shoot, I shouldn't be eating this in the morning. So even when
It's
we
not
have
gonna
our
melt
pound
your
cakes,
damn teeth when you eat it though. It's gonna be this is gonna be
yeah,
nice. It's
man.
just gonna be just like a little treat. It's not gonna exactly.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes. So that's what we aimed for. And then we said, now that we have that, let's begin to start trying to get into different coffee shops and do some more wholesale contracts. And so that's what we started doing, man. And that became the business model was about like getting contracts so we can work, like I told them, like smarter, not harder.
No, and I mean it, and I feel like this was like either COVID is now happening or it just happened.
So right
Right.
before COVID is when I
Okay.
started doing the rebrand, and then COVID happened. It's like, what
Okay.
is
We need
going
to
on
change the
here?
game now. We need to, which
Mm-hmm.
strange enough, like, do you feel, and this is a weird question I just thought of, I didn't like me to write
Mm-hmm.
this, but do you think, because like politically at a time, it was crazy. Like again, we from
Crazy.
California and Brittany looked at Portland, Oregon and thought that's the safest place to move up, a black woman to move up to. Let's just go there. That's
Right.
fine. That's fine.
So you
Do you
guys moved up here in the pandemic.
hmm
Oh wow.
Pandemic, when they were snatching people up in minivans, like we're like
Hmm.
that looks safe. Let's go. Let's do that. That's
Let's do
cool.
that.
Do you think that low key helped you guys as far as like, because again, that was very much
Yeah.
where. Black Lives Matter. Again, let's
Yeah,
businesses. Do you think that helped you guys out more, or was the pandemic just a difficult period to
I
navigate
think
through?
the pandemic was difficult, but I say it helped us out because I say it helped us define more clearly like who we are and who
Mhm.
we're going to be going forward. I don't know if people begun to just buy our products more because we were black, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a factor for some people.
Which not to diminish, because like, bruh, like
Oh
I've
no,
been
not at all.
very
I
familiar with those. Is for the audience. The food is smacking. It pops. Like it's like I low key asked Brosia like, how can I like, I want to support a business, but like if you guys have like extra cinnamon rolls that like fall off or something, or you want to do like
all
some
right.
type of like, I'll bring the money, you bring the rolls, or you just want to gift them to me at a park or
Right,
something.
right, right, right.
You
Man,
know,
I
I
got some
wouldn't mind help
downstairs right
help
now. Right now, I
facilitate
got
that.
some downstairs,
Oh
man. I got
boy.
some downstairs in my house right now. And this is from us going to Fogo de Chao yesterday for his birthday. I said, hey, man, we're
Okay.
taking you to Fogo de Chao. So we take him to Fogo de Chao. And he's just like, we're leaving. And he was like, oh, by the way, come meet me at the car. I got some cinnamon rolls for you. And bro's just like, what? And he just gives them to us.
There you go.
Hey, we
We're
got some
making
caramel.
rolls.
Yeah, I got cinnamon rolls. Caramel apple is in there. We got some regular ones in there, and then we got some iced ones in there. And so I'm like, all right, let me get those to the house, man. But yeah.
If I, yeah, no, if I can, I maybe like link something up though, bro, because like I'm a cinnamon roll fiend, and
Mm-hmm.
like you don't need a critic though, but like I would be honored to
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice my taste buds to try them out and give you my
Oh
opinion. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. Like I said, we wouldn't mind that, man. Like I said, we got a caramel apple one, a regular sticky bun type one, and then a cream cheese one.
yes to
That
all.
we do.
I would yet yes, if you got, I will gladly.
All right.
We can talk about that after the show for sure. You know, talk
I
about
got you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Fogo de Chao. I heard about that place. So a Brazilian I've never actually been either A to Brazilian steakhouse or let alone this place.
Yeah.
The hype real.
If you like meat,
You can't
then
tell, but
yes.
yeah, bro, this is a body by
Yes.
protein kind of thing. We eat.
Yes. Then yes. The
Okay.
answer, my good friend, is yes.
Is a
It
yes
is.
and
It is. The hype is worth it. And the hype
okay.
is true. Yep.
But the bill, the price tag is
Ouch.
yeah, it'll hurt your wallet.
Yeah.
All right, good to know. Good to
Well,
know.
39 to 50 per person if you're getting a drink.
So you know, it's again,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
not bad, man.
gotta celebrate kind of thing though. I
Yeah,
got
we
you, I got you.
celebrating, man. We celebrating. Yeah, you find something to celebrate, it's worth going to.
So we're doing the business, we're
Hmm.
doing the farmers market. We meet at a music festival, which I don't know if I asked this question before. Was that a successful event like
Yes,
that?
it was.
Okay, I think you were one of the few because I talked to some other vendors there, and that apparently that event was whack compared to.
Well, the next 2 years it was. But the
Hmm.
first year that we went, it was like great. But that next year we signed up, boo.
Sorry, man. I want to blame like I think Tiger's still just trying to figure it out. Granted, I've only been here 4 years myself, but I also don't do anything Tiger related. And that I'm probably part of the problem, but you know, just
Uh,
so my bad. I'm notorious for saying I'm interested in this and just not going. So my bad, brother. Okay. All right. So
oh,
you had the
good.
business, and now like again, now you're not even doing that. Now you're,
Mm-mm.
I guess, again, what's your official title? I don't want to call
So
you
with, with
right
with
there.
with Bishop and Sons?
No, no, no. Now we're talking
Oh,
about like your
oh,
managing of the counselors or
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, so Bishop and Sons, like I told you, I was doing it at the time. At the same time, I was at the place called Friends of the Children, where I was a professional mentor there. I
hmm
worked my way up, and I ended up becoming a direct service program manager, which means I
hmm
supervised and trained and did all that type of stuff with mentors, with professional mentors who worked with youth.
Okay.
During that time, I started learning like a lot about program fiscal management by sitting in different meetings with the board or the ED or our program director at the time. And so I just began to just soak up a lot of different information that way.
Mm.
About salaries and benefits, hanging out with people from the HR, just asking questions, hanging out with people from our financial department, asking questions, taking notes, taking trainings. So I'm doing all that over my course of my time there. And it gets to be like a really like toxic type environment. And so it's like, okay, I
Mm.
need to go ahead and make a transition and leave. My sister, who had her own practice, had been uh, looking to start like a peer support type program
Hmm.
at her place. And so I was like, okay, I'll come over there. And she was like, yeah, you. So I was just an independent contractor
Okay.
doing peer support work for people. And basically, a peer support work, the way we do it at Anchor is it's basically things that people aren't allowed to or aren't able to work on with their therapist while they're in session. We're able to help support and help them achieve those type of goals outside of the therapy session with their therapist.
Interesting. Okay. It just sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah.
more hands-on work than what you were
Yes.
doing before, kind of thing.
Yes, most definitely. So
Okay.
we're doing it, man. We're knocking it out. It's growing. It's getting bigger beyond me. And my sister's finally just like, hey, the way that Oregon is categorizing contractors now, you can't be a contractor here in Oregon because in Oregon it's basically like if for you to be an independent contractor, I can't use anything from her business, right?
Okay.
And
Interesting.
so yeah, so they had these new rules and stuff out, and it was like for tax purposes and all different types. So she was like, "Let's develop a position for you." And
Let's find
so
let's find you a reason to keep you. All right. All right.
yeah, let's
Okay.
make
Okay.
you an employee. So we talked about a position, we talked about my skill sets, different things, and so we came up with community-based director. And so yeah, and so that's how it began. That's how the story of that happened. So basically what I do there now is I supervise the peer support team. I also help out with some fiscal management as well, developing benefit packages for therapists as well.
You basically did what you did at the previous job, but you're doing it here, and
Yep.
you're
Yep.
kind of filling like the much needed gap that job needed. Because I'm only
Mhm.
imagining all the stuff you did at the last job was definitely needed slash needing to be done at this one.
Exactly. And so that's why I told me and the wife talked about the other day. I'm like, so yeah, this is like a technically on paper, it's a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
really, it's just for me, it's just another part of entrepreneurship because it's my sister's business, right? She's the
exactly.
clinical director and the business owner, right? And so,
So she can make decisions like that. Let's go. Mm.
yeah, yeah. And so working for her is just like, oh, this is another family business, but it just feels like so much more than that. Like being able to do this work has been so rewarding, not just working with my sister, but the people who we've been able to like hire. It's been so I'm so glad you asked this question. It's been so satisfying to be able to help other people have a good living, right? From a
Hey,
good salary, right? And just to know that that was able to be something that you helped build for them to be able to feed their family, but then also for them to be able to do the work that they're passionate about and for them to be
exactly.
good at what they do and to want to do what they do. Like we got people who want to be at work, and it's like, yeah, it's work, but people
Isn't that
want to be
crazy?
here.
Like that's something to brag. It's like people actually want to be here. It's like
Yeah, they
the
want to
bar is
be
that
here.
low.
They want to be here.
Holy shit.
But no, they're good at what they do. And so I love being able to work in the mental health field. I've enjoyed not just working with my sister, but being able to work and see her as a clinical director, to see her as a boss, right? Like, so it's done wonders for our relationship as well.
Because that's got to be low key tricky trying to figure out. Because again, like sometimes working with family is the best thing to do, and sometimes it's like, bro, I gotta work with my family. I can't stand my family. Like, thank God
Yeah,
you guys found that balance, though. So,
yes. That's what we did, man. We found that balance. And like I said, it's been really rewarding, man. Just to kind of be a part of problem solving and just helping people make sure that they're enjoying like their work environment and workspace.
hey man.
It's just really been just rewarding for me, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. And so that's what I get to do in my day-to-day 9 to 5 during the week now as community-based director at Anchor within counseling.
And you know what? It's kind of funny because like we're gonna bring it back to the ADHD. I can only imagine this job's perfect for you because again, it's like
Hmm.
you got tasks you gotta take care of. Like every
Yep.
day you gotta think of again, it's like it's something new. You gotta like a new
Yep.
problem though. It's not every day is boring and it's like
Nope. Nope. Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head there, man. Especially with my ADHD brain, like there's always something to do at my job, but then also there's always ways to improve and make it better, and my brain is constantly like invigorated to find that out,
Because you're
man.
not bored. You're like, bruh, it's like it goes, you know what, man, I should do something. Something with
Yeah.
I don't know. It goes back to that gaming mentality. It's like you're so I was watching this guy who was describing, he said, if you have ADHD, and this is shout out for everybody else who's listening, got that struggle. If you have it, some of the best things you can do as far as like taking care of tasks is gamifying things. Like again,
Mm.
quick response, like problem solution. Like if you can figure out how to do that, your brain is way more like susceptible to like taking care of things and doing things because your brain's like,
Mm.
all right, like again, like a game. All right, I do something, I win a match, immediate dopamine. It's like we did it. We solved the problem. Here's a solution. So
Right.
there you go.
Right.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm so freaking smart, dude. I'm so crazy.
Come
I
on, man. Pat that back.
I mentioned that is because when she described that job, I've always wanted to do coaching. I did something like that at a group home setting where I
Mm.
was, again, I was watching teenagers, an alternative to juvenile detention, and I'd live with them. You know, like I would basically have like it's like 3.5 days, so it's like Sunday till Wednesday, with Wednesday being a half day. But again, we just make sure they're fed, take them to schedules, take them to A to B, make sure they're safe, yada 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 yada. Unfortunately, I did get fired. There was this meltdown situation where this kid was screaming and breaking shit, and my manager was like, "Take the kids to the park, play
Hmm.
basketball for X amount
Something.
of time." 4 or 5 hours pass, and I'm just like, "Bro, why are we still here? This is stupid.
Hmm.
One kid's having a meltdown, and these kids are like, this is great for my Sunday. Like we're just chilling at a park." And I asked them if I could take I that is where I missed. I dropped the ball. As I did drop the ball. I asked them if I could take them to like somewhere like the mall or something. He said no, get pizza and go back to the park.
Mm.
And I didn't listen. I didn't tell him. I went to the mall because I was like, this is stupid. I trust these
Hmm.
kids. They'll trust me. And we had a good time. The only downside is we went to the Apple store where those little knuckleheads logged into Facebook and basically like, hey, look where I'm at, and pinpoint, which they're not supposed to have access to that stuff.
No.
They found out, got let go on the spot, but like,
Mm.
I don't know. I could just that job was difficult sometimes because again, like trying to like healthily make those boundaries of just like, like how to just again be the proper mentor, but like
Hmm.
not like get again too wrapped up in there, or maybe they might emotionally manipulate you or try to be
Hmm.
like, hey, I know I messed up, but I won't do that again, or can you be like laxed on me because like I'm your favorite or whatever, da 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 da. But it was a good thing I lost the job, but I always miss doing stuff like that. I
Yeah.
always miss like talking with just the kids, with the others, and just like I don't know, like when she was describing like what you guys did, I was like, I think
Hmm.
I would have loved to do something like that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a nice government job though, but I mean like I probably ain't gonna leave anytime soon. But if I ever did, I don't know, I might hit you up if you ever got a position open or something like that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, hit us up, man.
I don't know.
Hit
I
us
I
up.
guess I'm not. I know I have to get like an interview, but like with all the stuff that was just said, just communicated. Do you think I might get an interview, or might might be an
Oh,
option.
I don't know, man. If we can kind of get over where you work at right now, uh,
We just
if we
gotta
can,
strip away all that evilness in your soul,
all that, man, we gotta strip all that away,
Just gotta
man.
get rid of it though, just gotta 50 lashings. After that, then
Yeah,
we can do some talking. I got you. Okay, all right.
exactly. Yeah, man. Because there's been a couple of bills that I've gotten from that,
I'm sorry.
you
I'm
know.
sorry. I'll give you advice if it takes forever to get a hold of them, and it's for everybody. If you ever need to talk to somebody about your taxes, call at the end of the day. I always tell people, especially on the West
Mm,
Coast, call at the end of the day because later in the day, Nobody's calling. Everyone thinks 5 o'clock rolls around. We kick our boots up. We not taking any more calls. We're not trying to talk to nobody. No, they're still open for another 2 more hours. So as long as you call later in the day, you might get there through them a lot more quickly. Free
Wow.
advice.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
received that. All can be forgiven. We could definitely bring you in for an interview.
There you go. Beautiful though. No, man, dude, this has been like such like a pleasure getting to know you. Just like honestly, like
Yeah.
dude, you had me. I can't remember the last guest that had me like laughing and cheesing this much. So I appreciate, it, man. This is some
Oh no,
tight
appreciate it, man.
endeavor.
Appreciate it.
So besides just the good, so the your uh, Bishop and Sons, is that like something people can order online technically?
No. Technically, you can meet us at, you can call to make orders where we can, like, basically what we do now is like farmers markets and pop-ups, and then we also do like made to order stuff where basically you can call us to, contract with us, right? But we don't do like one-offs anymore. Like we may do something where like, hey, I'm having an office party. Can you guys come and do the desserts? Yes, we do that.
Smart, smart. Well, guys, we'll figure it out. But if you want to get a hold of my man though, like what's the best way?
Instagram. Well,
Insties?
Instagram if it's for Bishop and Sons, man.
Okay.
And you can do Bishop and Sons PDX, and that is on Instagram.
Okay.
If you are looking on the mental health side, though, you can look at Anchor Within Counseling, anchorwithincounseling.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And, if you're looking for a request for services, there's a request for services tab on there, and you're going to fill out all that information that you can, and we can kind of just go from there. I do have a personal Instagram as well, but if you're looking for the baked goods, Bishop and Sons PDX on Instagram. But if you are looking for mental health services or just to kind of like learn more about mental health or you got questions, anchorwithincounseling.com.
They also have an Instagram too. I just now
Yes, we
remember
do.
that. Anchor
Anchor
Within
Within has
Counseling.
yes, we
Beautiful.
do.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Hey. I'm trying to see where your sister is though. Be like, hey, I know her. Maybe. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So if you go to the website, you'll see her when you go to like meet us on the website. She's gonna be all the way at the bottom, I believe.
Okay. Meet us. Maybe
Hmm.
meet your family. Okay.
Yeah,
What's up, Ambrosia? What's up? Peer support. Christopher
that's
Berry.
that's my baby.
Downing. Leila Perez. Jordan Morales. Florence Amari. Actually, I guess I gotta go all the way to the bottom. Okay.
She's all the way at the bottom. She just,
Fayana?
yes.
Fayana. Nice to meet you, Fayana. And hopefully you listen to this episode. Hey, Fayana. I'm also in counseling, could use counseling, might either ask for employment opportunities or mental health services though, because your boy is a user and a promoter. So let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Well, shoot, man. No, dude, this has been super tight again. Like I just met you, dude, and this has been like I don't know. Like I feel like I've been knowing you. Like this is like we kicked it before. So I just this has been a blast, man. So I just appreciate just everything we've had today, man. Thank you.
No, man, appreciate you, and yeah, man, just let me know when we can listen to it and when you're getting those out, and we definitely will just love to like listen back and also just share with our circle of influence as well.
If anyone wants to just get a hold of you, period, is like your email on there though, or like what's the best way to get a hold of you if
Yeah,
they
the
want to
email
just
is on
like
there for Anchor.
okay,
The email is on there.
all right,
Yep. Phillip at anchorwithincounseling.com.
there you go.
Yep.
Man, this has just been a blast. I know you're gonna have to like jet out soon. Yeah, man, no. As far as the episode goes, your episode, funny enough, is I can actually give you a date, I believe, because we're trying to get both you and your spouse out the same month. It's gonna be November. So her episode's coming out on the 11th. Oh, that's right. Your episode's gonna be on the Thanksgiving time though. So that's gonna be on the 25th of November. That's gonna be your
Okay.
episode though. Okay, well, dude, some party, some very, very holiday related stuff. Let me ask you this. Two things. First off, this will be what we'll close on. This will be our because the session's about over though. We're gonna have you pray us out. We're gonna just wrap this thing up. But as far as what are your holiday like traditions? Like you got anything you guys always do for in this case we'll say Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And then who's cooking actually? Is it you or your dad?
Mhm. Both.
That's the only right answer.
The
That's the
only
only
right
right
answer.
answer was both.
Both,
There you go.
man. Both, man. Divide and conquer. But my mom will
Brosia, get
usually
out of the
cook.
kitchen. I'm sorry.
No, well,
You're
see,
getting
no,
there, but
she's on cabbage duty, so that's her dish. She can make. That's her one
Brosia's
dish.
on cabbage duty. Oh my God.
Cabbage duty, man. She can knock that cabbage out,
Hey,
and
she'll do a
we
good
don't.
job. She'll do a
She does a good
there you
job, and
go.
then she'll make a ham though too because she doesn't like turkey.
Okay.
So she's taught herself how to do like a ham. So she'll do a ham, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so she'll get up in there. She has very assigned duties. They never change, regardless of the holiday. It's the same. Okay? Birthday
Man, like,
parties,
honey, I'm sorry.
holidays.
Just this
That's what
meal's
she
too
got.
important, man. We can't just like
No, it's not the time for practice. It's the time for the starters.
I'm sorry, it's me laughing this much. Ooh. Yeah, hopefully she doesn't light me up if I chat with her again. That's hilarious, man. Okay,
Nah.
so you're cooking. Do you have like the signature dishes though, or what are you usually like?
Oh
Is it kind of
man.
like whatever's decided, like, your dad says you're doing this, this, and this, or like do you guys come together and be like this is
So
the battle plan?
funny, man. We maybe they can call us bougie or whatever it is. I don't know what you call this, but we have a Excel doc.
Okay,
And
all
every
right.
year we just add like another tab to it for that year. But
Okay.
we do it for Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinner, right? And
Dude, that's
so,
not even bougie. Like
okay,
you guys
cool,
did
cool,
not
cool.
okay. Like I don't know. It's just about the main holidays. It's Thanksgiving, Christmas, where it's like that's like for the cookers, like that's the time where it's like, okay, bros, it's Super Bowl. Like
Yep,
we're
this
not
is the Super
screwing
Bowl,
around.
man.
We're
This
not
is the
playing
Super Bowl.
around. We
Mm-mm.
gotta make the right kind of stuff
You
here.
got to
So like,
make it,
no.
man. So
Yeah.
we have that, and we people sign up for things, and they're able to put there's your dish that you're making. There's the name of that who is this assigned to, but all of it is broken down into categories. Here's our
Mm,
mains, protein, sides, drinks, desserts, and so whatever you're
okay.
gonna put, you put that in there, and you know, and then there's a note section too, so you can be like, because I do mac and cheese usually. That's what I usually do. But I make
Okay.
it all, different types of ways a little bit. I've been trying to teach it. So I do a white cheddar mac or a
Okay.
regular one. But yeah,
Do you
I
prefer
mean,
more like soupier, kind of like the cheese sauce heavy mac, or like the more baked, where it's like this,
more
like,
baked.
okay,
It's baked. Yep, baked, 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 baked. I
no,
make the
yeah,
sauce all over the oven.
okay,
You know, put it into like the cooking pans with the noodles and stuff, and
mm,
I put the panko crumbs on top
okay,
after
panko crumb,
crisping them
man,
up. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
all
Then I
right,
toss them bad boys into the oven for about 30 minutes on 375, and we're ready to rock.
okay. Remember, write all that down, people. Provide the recipe in the comments. Okay, there's no, I mean, I totally get it because for me, it's I that's and I and I'm not even speaking evil to my wife. Baby, I love you. Thank you for listening to this. I'm sorry. I've low-key been roasting you a little bit on this episode. It's definitely a holiday where we have to work on our communication because like
Yeah.
it's and this kind of segues and I was gonna ask you this. Have you ever seen the show The Bear?
No, man, but I do want to get into it.
Bro, definitely watch it with your lady. It's just a fantastic show. Like
Dope.
incredible characters, especially with what I know about you liking to cook. Like it is, you're gonna understand. It's just you're gonna be like, bro, like this just it will make sense to you. So
Oh, we're putting it on our list.
thank you, appreciate you. Uh,
Yep.
kind of the conversation with my wife. I'm like, honey, you don't gotta understand. Like right now, like we're in a jungle. Like there's a war going on with everything coming out at the right time, at the right temperature, all this stuff though. I might be short. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just like, you either get with it or get out the way. And that's a, let's just say that's a holiday where we have to kind of constantly
Yeah.
have that conversation, that kind of communication. We're like, baby, I love you, but like, get out the way.
Yeah.
Wife, get out.
Absolutely.
Get out. Just kidding. I love you, honey. All right. But all right. Okay, cool. You mentioned mac and cheese. Any like tradition as far as like, do you guys always watch a movie or something, or a specific movie, or just
Nah, we've tried to make a tradition as far as like, Christmas is concerned. We gotta get up early, go through the gifts, we pray, especially now that we got the kids, we talk about the real meaning of Christmas, but they
hey
they
man,
kind they kind of already know, you know what I'm saying? But we kind of talk about more so like what does that mean for you this year type
okay,
of thing.
I love
What
that.
does it look like for you? Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
We open up the gifts and then let people rest a little bit, then people get in there and start cooking and we expect for stuff to be done around like 2 or 3. So whether it's
Okay.
Thanksgiving or Christmas, the time for eating is pretty much the same, though aspirationally. So
Mm.
people like will just show up, at our house like around those times
I
on
mean,
like
no
Christmas.
lie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it sounds like the place to be though. Like it's like, I mean, again, if your stuff is any as good as the stuff you be making, which you be making some real good stuff, I can only imagine. It's like again, it's the place to be.
Yeah. A lot of love, a lot of love.
Well, amen. Okay. Well, I think all right, then this year. You got any plans? You got anything you're pre-prepping or pre-thinking about for this year for the holidays?
No, man, not at all. We were thinking about going out of town again, so we did it a couple years ago.
Okay. Just the fam bam? Just you and
Well,
the
yeah, no, we invited even our extended family. So we just went out and rented a house that had like 9 bedrooms in it
I
and
love
just
that.
invited different people. And we had Thanksgiving there. But the place was booked out this year. But next year, we're going to get that place.
Okay.
Nobody's going to beat us to rent that next year.
Okay.
And I'm going to invite family again. But it was a dope experience. And yeah, we're going to do it again.
I want to continue being friends and staying in
Let's do it.
contact though, but I think that would be I mean just even for the food. Like I just like I know low key it's like bruh, like I how much is the fee we got to drop down? Okay, here's the cash, like I also wouldn't mind
Yeah.
a bruh, oh my God. Like I especially watching the Bear show, like it's just always like, yes, chef. Like it's always just like, okay, well you need me on the green onions? You need me to I need to sous vide this? So I just like tell me like what am I doing? Like I'm like put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
well, all right, guys. Yeah, no, sermon's about over. The message is done. My prayer selves out though. The meal's coming. Episode's wrapping up. Seriously, this is again, Phil. I had no idea what I was gonna expect doing this though, but like I just guarantee I'm gonna leave here and tell my wife how much of an amazing time I had, and I appreciate you, brother. This was tight. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time today, man.
Uh, I'm trying like we kind of ended it just like I don't know. Do you have as a man of conviction, as a man with the right words to say? I mean, do you have anything on your heart or anything you want to either say or think that needs to be said before we end this thing? Any final words,
Man,
notes?
not at all, man. Not at all. I think we said what needed to be said, and yeah, I think I feel good about where we're leaving it at.
All right, guys. Again, happy holidays. Be vulnerable to the right people. Look for opportunities. I think more than anything, what I learned on this episode was that time keeps on skipping into the future. And into the future. I just saw Space Jam last night, so that's why I just.
Oh yeah, Seal.
I was waiting for him to laugh, but he didn't, so it's okay. But no,
No,
but
I was
honestly,
listening. I was like, wait a minute, like,
thank
is
you.
this appropriate to laugh? Because what if he really got that from this episode? It would probably really crush him. I'm
That's
really trying
funny.
to. I'm holding that
Oh,
in, but I'm
dude,
definitely
man.
gonna tell Ambrosia later.
There you go. He like low key didn't
And he
even
was
realize he was
serious.
quoting.
He was serious too, babe. And I couldn't
Oh
say
my
anything. I
God.
had to keep a straight face.
I
I
love you,
almost
man.
turned my camera
Oh
off
my
so he
God.
wouldn't see my face.
Like, okay, dude, yeah, this has truly been probably like the best episode I've done in a minute though. So guys, seriously, things will happen at the right time. I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing until I started doing this, and I kept doing it. Philip mentioned stories about far as like again, he wasn't ready until God broke him down. So not to get preachy on y'all, but it's just like if you're wondering when's your time, either be open with open eyes and ears to listen for it or be patient and know it's going to come because it will, even if it takes another couple of years. Be patient. Guys, I'm Tristan. This is Phil. It's been another ordinary person with extraordinary stories. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Good night.
Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please click the description below to look into our Patreon. I want to give a shout out to our exclusive patrons who've been donating to the channel. Again, I want to give a shout out to Courtney, Tamsin, and Richie. Without your help, we wouldn't be able to make these fine episodes, so thank you again. And for anyone else that's listening that believes they or they know somebody who has a very extraordinary story to tell, please feel free to email me at OPESpodcast@gmail.com. That's OPES, acronym for Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories, OPES, podcast, one word, at gmail.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you, and again, thanks for listening, guys. Take care.